That's with Dowding Industries.
Sports talk and the best play-by-play in Lansing. It's just what we do. We're Lansing's #1 source for sports talk. The Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station, The Game, 7:30 a.m. Starring the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout. The Sparrow Stout on Sports is Michigan's longest-running sports radio show. From the high schools to the colleges and the pros, Tim has you covered. Give Tim a call on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or send him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in mid-Michigan and member of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame, here's the Dean himself, Tim Stout.
On behalf of our partner, Shaheen Chevy Cadillac, good morning, everybody. On this Monday, October 14th, 2024, welcome to a brand new week of the Sparrow Stout on Sports. And you're hearing it right here on Lansing Sports Station, The Game, 7:30 a.m. at your home for the local sports shows and programs in the area. Coming to you live from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. Driven Collision is at 3200 West Main Street in Lansing. For an appointment with Joe Ledge staff, 977-0955. They work with the insurance companies. They get you a loaner if you need it while yours is being repaired, and it'll look gleaming when it comes out if it's been a bad deal for you in some kind of a fender bender or even worse. Driven Collision for you. Driven Collision story of the day at some point along the way today, and usually the Driven Collision story of the day on a Monday in the fall is a wrap-up of everything sports-related going on a weekend in the fall. That'll be part of the show today. You can bet on that. Ianni's due in here in another hour or so. We'll take your calls on the Culligan Water Hotline at 340-263. Brock's here. I'm Tim. It was 46 degrees and sunny walking in the door today. Fall is a little bit more apparent. We'll have Pure Green, Smith Tree, breaking sports moments at any time during the show. That's the way it is every day. It's aeration time of the season at Pure Green, Smith Tree for all those lawns to make them look good like the golf courses in the spring. Pure Green, Smith Tree is at 703-1111. The numbers that we give you, the stats, those are Quality Dairy, right? Stats Quality Dairy. You want the QD mobile app if you use Quality Dairy on somewhat of a regular basis because it's more convenient and it saves you money. And this is cider and donut season at Quality Dairy, unlike it is anywhere else. Away we go with a brand new week of the Sparrow Stout on Sports. Usually start on Monday, and I say, okay, here's what we got coming up in terms of the games tonight.
Well, this is what we have. I'll help you out here. We had to change things because we figured maybe the Tigers would win, but they didn't, so their season is over. So the Red Wings game at the New York Rangers is over on 1240 WJIM. That's tonight.
What time?
6:45 pregame, so it's just after 7 o'clock from Madison Square Garden, and then here on WVFN at 7:30, it's NFL Monday Night Football. I don't even know who's playing tonight. Who is it? Oh, yeah, it's Buffalo at the New York Jets. So 7:30 pregame, 8:15 first or kickoff from MetLife Stadium in New Jersey.
Featuring the debut of the new Jets head coach, Aaron Rodgers. He'll be serving as head coach tonight. Did you know that Jim Harbaugh had an arrhythmia problem or not?
No, I didn't. They didn't say what it was, and I was.
Well, he had an arrhythmia problem.
Yeah, that is. I didn't know that. When I saw that he had to go to the locker room, I thought, oh, did he have a digestive attack that he had to take care of? Because I've seen that happen before. I've seen coaches have to leave.
He went into the tent. How do you get treated? And then he comes back out and coaches, and the Chargers win going away at Denver. And he made light of it afterward. He said he's had the problem for some time when it doesn't beat on a regular basis. Ugh. I don't quite know how all that works out, and I don't know if it's genetic. So does John Harbaugh or does Jack Harbaugh or any of the other Harbaughs, do they have that issue medically or not? I don't know. I mean, he looked normal after the game. He was in a good mood.
Because they won.
Because the Chargers won the game. I saw that, of note yesterday. We were out of town in northern Michigan on the Michigan State bye
week. You said it was
week.
A little bit cool on Belvedere yesterday?
Well, it was a Belvedere. You know that Belvedere Golf Club, next year's their 100th year. Belvedere Golf Club in Charlotte's their 100th year, and they're making a huge deal out of it. And for the 41st time next year, they'll host the Michigan Men's Amateur Championship. That's for the 41st time in June. How popular is Northern Michigan golf? In that little golf shop, which is there at the course,
Yep.
Marty told me yesterday, they did well over $500,000 in sales in their pro shop in 5 months. Well over $500,000.
My goodness.
Easily. And he said for most of the public tee times during the year, most of them were filled for the entire year. That's how popular Belvedere is, and Northern Michigan golf. We had a chance just to get away, just to go see the color. The colors are good. The problem was
pretty much the prime right now up there.
Well, the weather yesterday all over Michigan was rainy.
Yeah.
So it was rainy coming home. I know one thing. If you're going north or coming back from the north, what you normally can make that trip in is elongated because of all of the road renovation north and south.
Yep.
I mean, we had to get off because of backup traffic and take dirt roads and everything else to get back here just to avoid all of the backups. Although there were a lot of people in northern Michigan this last week, and I think most of them, Michigan State, were off for whatever that was worth. But the colors in the middle of October are pretty good. But
yes, they are.
The weather was pretty good Friday, and Friday was the best. And then Sunday, yesterday, like it was here. Well, once you got past noon, it started to rain all the way home. So we got a brand new week. You got on home for the disaster in Dallas. Like ESPN says on its headline this morning, is yesterday's game, is it more about the Lions or more about Dallas?
I think it's both. It's 50-50.
I know what it is in Texas.
Yeah, but that's as good as the Lions have played complete.
Was it an expensive win?
You could argue that because now Aiden Hutchinson's out for the year, and if Fox didn't show the incident, which is probably a good thing, but of course somebody posted it on Twitter, and I saw it, and he got hit by his own guy, Aleem McNeil. He got hit by Aleem McNeil, and he's got a broken tibia. Yeah, and it was pretty gruesome, and he's done for the year. He meaning Hutchinson, of course.
So there you go. There were
other than that, they played great. But they got injuries. We talked about injuries all season long. Carlton Davis left because of a concussion.
I knew after 2 batters the Dodgers were going to win going away last night. I wouldn't have guessed 9-0. I knew after 2 batters this is over for the Mets last night.
What about the Tigers on Saturday?
Well, Jimmy, you remember the question I asked you Friday, and I spread that everywhere. If you're the Cleveland Guardians players and you had your option in Game 5, would you rather play Game 5 at home and you have to face Skubal, or would you rather play Game 5 in Detroit and you don't see Skubal? And I said without hesitation, you and I did.
We agreed.
He disagreed. Yeah. Jimmy did down the hall.
Right.
I said without hesitation, I went Game 5 at home.
Yep.
And part of that was because I thought to myself, you're asking a lot of Skubal to shut these guys out.
And
They've
Tigers
seen
did.
him all year long, and they just saw him the other day.
Yep.
So if nothing, that doesn't mean they're going to hit him.
Right.
But they know what he does. Okay, there's no surprise with him. And they don't have to hit him a lot because the Tigers went a long way on scoring 3 and 4 runs every game. That's what they did. They're a 3 or 4 run game, but with no offense in baseball, generally speaking, 3 and 4 runs can win you a lot of games the way they did it. I do think in the offseason they got to get some starting pitchers.
Oh, they got to get more bats, Tim.
They need start. You can't go with a starter and 4 bullpens.
I agree. They need 1 to 2 starting pitchers, but they need 1 to 2 offensive bats. They don't have enough offense.
If you're only scoring 3 or 4 runs a game, yeah.
Yeah, they need both. It was disappointing, but
when they were up 2-1, even Fred thought this ain't over.
Up 2 games to 1.
I thought Game 4 for the Tigers is Game 5. They got to win this at home. And it went, to the wire.
And they didn't do it.
And I thought, but I'm telling you, you're asking a lot out of Skubal. He cannot make almost any mistakes against Cleveland in Game 5. Now, I don't think Cleveland's going to beat New York.
No, I don't either.
And I don't think the Mets are going to beat the Dodgers, and that's what baseball wants. They want Judge against Ohtani. By the way, I've never seen this before in the history. Maybe Fred has. I don't watch TV baseball. I just check in. Do you realize, but I saw a little bit of the game last night, because on the screen...
You didn't watch any of the Tiger game on Saturday?
No, I didn't see any of it.
Wow.
There are other things in life.
I know, Tim.
There are other things in life.
I know.
I had my phone right here, and,
I know.
But at any rate, on Ohtani, I've never seen this on network TV. They're so desperate for viewers that on the screen, when the Dodgers are hitting, if he's within 3 or 4 batters, they put on the screen 3 batters to Ohtani, 2
really?
batters to Ohtani,
Really?
1 batter. So they don't want you to leave.
Wow.
So And by the way, and he hit a couple of rockets.
He went 2 for 4. Yeah, he went 2 for 4 last night.
He hit a couple of rockets in that game. But, then I didn't stay with it. I mean, it's out of reach early on.
I didn't watch any of the Sunday night game. I didn't watch any of the Sunday night baseball or Sunday night football.
I saw all the Tigers on the streaming, on my phone after the fact.
The Tigers could not get Steven Kwan out. They couldn't get Jose Ramirez out, and they couldn't get Lane Thomas out. Those 3 guys killed them.
All he had to do was hit it one time.
And Thomas hit the grand slam in the 5th inning to turn a 1-0 loss, to 1-0 deficit to 5-1. I know. Well, he hit Jose Ramirez before that.
But Cleveland doesn't have the starters to pitch against the Yankees, I don't think.
No, Yankees will win in 5.
So, Matthew's watching and keeping me posted in Cleveland. Like he said, this Cleveland manager is so overmanaged this game. He's got 8 pitchers in this game, and the Tigers got 3 runs.
Tim, he tried to lose the game by putting Cade Smith, who's maybe their best reliever other than Clase. They put him in the game in the 3rd inning. I'm like, you idiot.
I don't see them beat New York. They may win some games, but I just don't see them beating.
Yeah, they're
New
not.
York.
I don't think they're going to beat the Yankees.
And I don't think the Yankees are going to beat the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers would get home field, right?
Yes, the Dodgers would have home
field. In a World Series,
field.
you don't have to win a road game.
Nope.
If you can protect your home turf, if you've got home field, you don't have to do that. How many sports are like that? You don't have to win a road game.
No.
I guess you could say that in the NBA.
In the NBA, it can happen, yes. And in hockey, too, I guess.
Yeah. So the Cleveland's at New York tonight. The Dodgers, are they back tonight?
They play this afternoon.
Oh.
They play 4 o'clock
Boy, do I know
our
it'll
time.
be on TV in the office today then when I get in there.
Yep. It's either Fox or FS1.
But I have I never saw on the screen 3 batters to Mickey Mantle, 3 batters to Willie Mays, 2 batters to Willie Mays, 4 batters to Stan Musial, 3 batters to Ted Williams. They're so desperate that you might turn away. They're telling you, if you stay with this half inning, Ohtani's 3 batters away. Now he's 2 batters away. Now he's in the on-deck circle.
I've never seen that before.
They had that on the screen.
Wow.
And I said, I've never seen that.
They are desperate.
Because the networks are so desperate for them to stay with it. So there's that. Michigan is a 1.5-point favorite at Illinois Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
A 1.5-point favorite. Iowa is a 5.5-point. Now, there are various betting spreads that changes now and then. The one I have here in front of me, Iowa's a 5.5-point favorite. The tailgate shows from 4 to 6. Channel 10's got the telecast. Iowa coming in off a 40-16 shellacking of Washington.
That's stunning.
After Washington beat Michigan 28-18. What do you make of that? More in a moment. You can join us on the Culligan Water Hotline, 342-63. Away we go with a brand new week of the Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Hey, there's Matt Rhodes here at Dusty's Cellar. It's Michael Patrick Shields with Fuzzy Math, as you know. I'm here for my October 6 for $66 wine club, and this looks like there's a little trick-or-treat headed our way.
Yes, Michael, as a thank you to all of our loyal wine club members who are offering 7 for $66 for the month of October, and you get to choose your 7th bottle being red, white, or rosé.
Do you have to be a member of the club to get the 7 bottles for $66?
You do not. This is a thank you to all our existing club members and for those who'd like to join the club.
Hey, that's a very nice invitation. So no cost to join the club, no ongoing commitments, discounts on everything you buy, wine, beer, all of it.
That's right. You got it, Michael.
I'm in for a club pack, and I think I'm going to get a gift card for a business client. How can they get redeemed?
That's the nice thing about our gift cards. They can be redeemed in the cellar, wine bar, or the tap room. Very versatile.
Oh, so they can go in the store or come on in for a drink or have dinner or lunch and that sort of thing, too. And you can join me and Matt Rhodes at Dusty's Cellar. It's on Grand River in Okemos and online at dustycellar.com.
Cheers, Michael Patrick.
For everyone, enjoy golf this season at Michigan State's Forest Acres Golf Courses. 2 18-hole championship layouts, a state-of-the-art practice facility referred to as the Golf Center, 2 full-service golf shops, and a full complement of services. It's a big season. For information, call 355-1635 to get a tee time either on the east or the west and get a good chance to enjoy working on your game with a variety of friends. Michigan State's Forest Acres Golf Complex for you. Infinity Chiropractic, serving our area for 40 years under the ownership of Dr. Harry Satimi. Their offices cover the area between East Lansing, St. Joe Highway, and Lansing and Grand Ledge. They're always accepting new patients. They welcome patients of all ages and enjoy caring for infants, children, expectant mothers, and families. Stop in at any of the 3 offices and be sure to find a family you'll see that are having their spines checked and fixed. A total of 6 chiropractors between the 3 Surgery offices, Infinity Chiropractic. Tailgating season or any other special occasion, Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland are ready to make it great for you. The entire family has created Tom's Food Centers, and they upgrade the stores with new renovations on a consistent basis. And it's also so convenient to get in and out right away 7 days a week. A lot of things on sale. The stores are fully stocked. They're neat, clean, sanitary. And for all those special occasions, you can dart in and out anytime, 7 days a week. Try them. Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland.
This is the Lansing Sports Network Minute from the Lansing Sports Network News Desk.
I'm Steve Goff. The big news comes from the Big D, Dallas, Texas, as the Lions rolled up, won big, and shocked the Cowboys Sunday afternoon.
Jared takes, tosses to Montgomery, flips it back to Amon-Ra. He gives it to Goff, who's going to throw downfield. He's got Laporta, makes the grab. 20, 15, 10-5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
That's Dan Miller on the call. Now, later on in the game, after a sack by NFL sacks leader Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions got some bad news. Hutchinson was carted off the field with a broken tibia from a gruesome injury. Hutchinson has already had surgery and will remain in Dallas for the time being. We'll keep you updated, and we wish him a speedy and healthy recovery. From the studios of the Lansing Sports Network, I'm Steve Goff.
Find more and stay up to date at LansingSportsNetwork.com or in the Lansing Sports Network app.
The Humana Honor Medicare Advantage Plan gives you $1,680 back each year in your Social Security check. Choose coverage that helps you keep more money in your pocket. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. The Part B Give Back benefit pays part or all of your Part B premium, and the amount may change based on the amount you pay for Part B. Limitations and restrictions may apply. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
We've partnered for years with our official pizza, Cottage and Gourmet Pizza. You always get fast delivery and a variety of specials every day. Order online at cottagein.com. Convenient locations all over our area, especially East Lansing and Okemos. Cottage and Pizza offering a wide variety of gourmet pizzas, and you can build your own just the way you want. Handmade dough closes at 11:30 each night. Way to go, George Hoover, with the continued growth and success of our official pizza, Cottage and Gourmet Pizza.
Are you attending the Old Town Trick or Treat and Doggy Costume Contest next Friday, October 18th? This is Kirby Pruce from Pruce Pets, and we are proud to host the festivities again this year. You can participate with your dog or come out to observe the hilarious costumes, free of cost. Go trick-or-treating throughout Old Town with your dogs between 4 and 6 p.m., followed by the costume contest. Gather free giveaways and get great values from vendors like Doggy Daycare and Spa. Register online or in person at PrucePets.com.
Our friend Val Orlando has done so well with City Limits in Mason, right? Well, he also has an all-state insurance agency that you hear us talk about all the time. He has a new location now with same great service. Stop in and say hello. The new All-State office next to the Secretary of State's office on Cedar Street and College Road, just off 127. Call for information on all-state insurance options at Val Orlando's agency at 969-5300. That's 969-5300, Val Orlando's Allstate Insurance. You always have a great time at Scott Berman's One North Kitchen and Bar, 5001 West Saginaw, Lansing. It's in the old Reno's West location. Dine-in or curbside service, all the info at onenorthdining.com. Or call 901-5001 for any special event. Open 11 to 11 and then till midnight on Friday and Saturday. A casual and entertainment-based environment where your gathering will have a great time every time. That's One North on West Saginaw in West Lansing.
Just how good of a job their GM, Jason Light.
Lake Lansing Road Mobiles across from the Eastwood Town Center. Great day and a great week, it looks like, for touch-free car wash. Get you 25 cents a gallon off the price of gas. You'll love Lake Lansing Road Mobile. To get an appointment in the service bays Monday through Friday, call 484-2300. In the Eastwood Town Center, right across the street, there's a Culver's by Walmart. When you order from that one Culver's, mention Stout on Sports because they'll reduce the entire price 10%.
From Mud Ice Arena to Little Caesars Arena, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident on the game, 7:30 a.m.
On the go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. It certainly was a different type of weekend with no Michigan or Michigan State football, and they both have challenges coming up, of course, this Saturday, Michigan-Illinois on Saturday afternoon, followed by Channel 10's NBC telecast of Michigan State and Iowa, 7:30 on Saturday night. This is homecoming week at Michigan State, so there you go. Did you watch? You didn't see much college football Saturday. Is that what I
did not
understand?
watch much college football. Disappointed after watching the Tiger game, and
Really?
just wasn't really. I wasn't really in. Well, neither Michigan or Michigan State was playing, so I wasn't interested. And I missed the Oregon-Ohio State game, which apparently was a mistake because you told me it was a great game, and it was what 32-31. Is that what it was?
Well, I mean, once you're in for the day, what's on? And Penn State, Southern Cal was. There were a lot of tremendous games. I mean, Penn State was down 20-6 at halftime.
And they were down, 3 touchdowns in that game, I think, weren't they?
It was at least 20-6.
Okay.
But they came back and got them in overtime.
Somehow.
They won that, so they're ranked third this week and undefeated. And they, on November 2nd, they play Ohio State at Penn State. Can Ohio State have 2 losses? And if Ohio State loses at Penn State, that means with 2 losses, more than likely Ohio State could win the national title because they think they're good enough to do it, but not play in the Big Ten title game.
Yep. Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, I'd pick Ohio State to win at Penn State if they played this Saturday. It's at Penn State.
Okay.
And they've had their way with Penn State.
Right.
But they've been, they're close games because they're both good teams. Then and yes, the Ohio State, Oregon. Well, then I stumble over Purdue, Illinois. And it's 27-3 because Illinois is at home and they're going to play Michigan next week. And and Purdue, who can't get out of its own way with a backup quarterback, comes back to take a 43-40 lead with 46 seconds to go. And people had already left the stadium. And Illinois, of course, they, to their credit, they got down there and kicked a field goal and went over. I never understand sometimes what some of these coaches, which is part of sports. I get that. But Purdue, in overtime, they both score, and Illinois kicks an extra point. They lead 50-43.
Yep.
Purdue, I thought that's a game, 50-43. Purdue's not going to score. No. They go right in and get a touchdown. So then there's a timeout because I think there was a video replay to make sure. So they decide to go for 2. Because
tried to win it there.
Because they had scored on a 2-point conversion earlier to get from 41-40 to 43-40 so that a field goal couldn't beat them. But the play that on that 2-point conversion was very creative, was a run. The guy had no trouble. So they do it again. I thought, I said run the same play. They'll never look for that again. No. He has a drop back pass and gets sacked, and they lose at 50-49. And I thought, why would your players have had such a tough season? Kick it, let's keep playing. Illinois got the pressure on them.
I always believe at the end of regulation, if you're in that situation, you kick and go to overtime. When you get to overtime and you're in the same situation, it's a coach's call.
I don't want to make or break on one play for any of the. Let's keep playing. Let's not make it or break it on one play. But anyway, that was that. And then we get. On my power poll in the Big Ten, I claim in the Ohio State-Oregon game, if that game was played any place else in the universe besides Autzen Stadium, Ohio State would have won the game. They came within one play of winning it on a field goal. He would have had to make it reasonably long, but he they got a kicker, but they ran out of time. I thought the 2-quarter that Dylan Gabriel played much better against Ohio State than he did against Michigan State.
Okay.
Much better.
Okay.
And Ohio State's quarterback, he's coming. I thought Will Howard played a great game. He's accurate. You can tell he's adjusted to the pressure at Ohio State. The game could have gone either way, but I claim Ohio State's, in my opinion, a better team. Not by a lot, but they're a better team. But when you're playing at Oregon, Brock, they're 47-1 at home.
Well, they could get them again.
They could get them.
They got to play. They got to win out to get them again.
And they won't be getting them at Oregon.
No, be in Indianapolis.
I mean, it lived up to its billing. I mean, there were all good players on the field. The place was going nuts. Then I saw a little bit of Minnesota at UCLA only because it went down to the wire, and Minnesota pulled it out. UCLA's got to have the worst luck in America. And then my 2 favorite teams in America, Army and Navy, for the first time in 64 years, legit or not, they're both ranked in the AP poll. They're both undefeated. Army just annihilated Alabama, Birmingham. I don't know that they're the top 25 teams in the country, but because they're both undefeated at the midway point of the season, they both From what I've seen, I think Army's a little bit better than Navy, although Navy can score.
Okay.
I think Navy was off this last week. Army won easily, but Army's throwing the ball a little bit more. They're not a passing juggernaut, no, but from where they were,
Army is 6-0. They're 23rd in the AP poll. Navy is 25th.
Yeah, so the last time they were both in the AP poll at the same time was 1960. So there's that. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else that stood out? There's so many. This week you got Georgia, Texas.
Yep.
Texas is a 3.5-point favorite.
And Georgia could lose that game, not make the SEC championship, and win the national title.
You could have two teams play for the national title who did not play for their conference title. And I'm telling you, that's why with these expanded conferences, how tough it is to win your league title. But you may have, frankly, an easier path to win the national title, the way this whole crazy thing is set up. Because in the Big Ten, you got to finish one or two. Is that going to be Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State? And toward that matter, is there any respect for Indiana? Because they haven't lost yet.
They haven't lost yet.
They were idle this last weekend.
And they're ranked, 16th right now in the AP poll.
But week to week, trying to figure this out. I mean, Washington, they're playing at home in Michigan, and Michigan can't get out of its own way on offense. And then Washington goes to Iowa, who got blown out at Ohio State, and Iowa hangs 40 on them.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
So everybody's going to think Iowa's going to come in here and just get all over the place against. I'd pick State to win the game.
Okay.
I don't think Iowa can do it twice, and I don't think Iowa's very good on the road.
Okay.
So there's that. How good's Iowa State? I watched them at West Virginia, and
they're still undefeated.
They're undefeated. Why isn't that Matt Campbell?
He's been up for jobs for
why
3
is
or 4
he still
years.
at Iowa State?
No.
To me, last year he should have been the number one guy. Maybe he was, but Iowa State's taken care of him. I don't know.
They've given him more money.
But I saw him I said, that guy's been up for about 900.
Right.
He was at Toledo, wasn't he, Matt Campbell, and went to Iowa State. Iowa State's good. They beat Iowa by 1 point.
Yep.
So it's
long
not
field goal, wasn't it? They beat him on a long
like that.
field goal.
They beat him by 1 point. So when Iowa comes in, and it's a night game here, I don't think this thing here is ever going to be close to a sellout at all. However, the crowd will be into it.
We also may hear a kick time for Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm looking for that. We're looking for that
But
this
it may
morning.
happen like it did last week because they announced the Michigan State-Iowa kickoff after we got off the air.
All right, hypothetical time.
Okay.
If Michigan played at Ohio State this Saturday, what would the line be?
Ohio State by 2 touchdowns.
To me, minimum.
Okay.
15.5, something like that.
I was thinking 14. I was
16.5.
thinking 14.5, but that's fair. Yep.
Now, they don't play this Saturday, so
Right.
with the bye week, is Michigan's offense going to look they're going to get all they want at Illinois.
Oh, totally.
Just because Illinois had a
Totally.
50-49 game with Purdue, trust me, it's going to be a different dynamic when Michigan go. But you know what? I don't know why I say this. I think I'm hypnotized by that winged helmet. I think I'd actually pick Michigan to win at Illinois. They've had a week off.
I would not be shocked if Michigan won at Illinois.
Well, here's another reason. Why do I always say it's not that I like so-and-so. I don't trust these guys.
Yeah, you think the other team's bad.
I don't trust Illinois. I just like Indiana. I root for Indiana because they've never had anything going for them.
Well, yeah, you were born in Bloomington and you sing the Indiana fight song during the Old Brass Spittoon
I keep
Week.
rooting for Indiana. I hope I hope they go all the way, all that stuff. But I don't trust them either because they haven't had one of those games yet. I think the best talent in the league is Ohio State. But they could lose at Penn State, and they could be 10-2.
Yep.
I don't see any other game around that they can lose because I don't.
Well,
think
they could be. Well, I mean,
I don't think they'll lose to Michigan and
then
Columbus.
you don't think they'll lose to Indiana either?
Well, that's at home. Their last 2 games, they have Indiana and Michigan. That was their last 2.
Yep.
I think. Well, you tell me who would have a better chance to win in Columbus, Indiana or Michigan?
That's tight.
Indiana can score, but I'm a little shaky with their defense. Michigan's strength is if that's what you call it, is defense, and they got to show that they. I mean, I got to see this Tuttle move the ball on more than 3 drives.
Right.
I got to see him do it.
You want to see him do it for a whole game?
Well, I got to see him take command of the thing like good teams have their quarterback take command.
Right.
I got to see him do it. Now, look, Washington, they're all right, but they're not what they were a year ago when they got to the national title game. Texas just obliterated Oklahoma. I tell you, the Georgia-Texas game, to me, you could almost argue that's the de facto national championship game.
And yet, if Georgia loses that game, they could finish 10-2 and win the national title and not even go to the SEC championship because, remember, they lost to Alabama.
But so I thought my 10, in
a wild game.
In our pool, I moved from 7th to 6th, and I had a good week. But as usual, and I thought my 10-point game is a lock. Alabama at home minus 21.5 of South Carolina.
That was my 9-point game, and they should have lost.
They barely won the game. South Carolina's awful.
They should have lost that game.
I think Alabama's. I think they could be a fraud. I think they could be a fraud, meaning
I'm running tape on that one,
meaning
folks.
they can end up 9-3 and playing whatever.
And then they're not going to care.
And then
they're
they
going to
won't
be
care.
all.
And
they're
7 guys
over.
will stay out of the bowl game because it won't matter.
And they'll be all over Caleb DeBoer. It's already happening after they lost to Vanderbilt.
So how this is all going to play out.
Clemson's getting better. They're getting
Texas
better.
A&M is getting better.
Yes, they are. Miami's getting better. The Notre Dame's playing better right now.
Notre Dame plays Navy in the Meadowlands in a couple of weeks.
No lock win.
I don't think it is, because if you can lose to Northern Illinois, then you can lose to almost anybody.
Sure.
I'm not saying that they will.
Another team that's out there, BYU.
I watched them. What was it? Friday? Was it they? I don't know where he gets all those players, but BYU looks tough.
Boise State's
and
good.
You realize that former Michigan State quarterback, Sam Leavitt, who's at Arizona State, they've lost one game.
Yeah.
That's all they've lost.
Yep.
He moves them right up and down the field.
Yep.
And I thought, you know what, somehow, some way, when you get a quarterback like that, why couldn't you identify him and keep him here? And if he would have been playing here this fall, I don't know this, would their record be different than 3-3?
I don't know.
But there'll be fans that'll have an opinion, pro and con. I tell you what, he looks pretty good. He was good the other night. They won. They haven't played monster teams totally yet. And the one they did, they got beat. But there's 6-1, something like that. They've only lost one game.
That, yeah,
that's all they've lost. So this will be another. There are a lot. Georgia, Texas coming up on Saturday night. Oh, is that thing going to be just an absolute war? That just is going to be a war.
Who'd you pick?
Well, because they're playing at home, I would take Texas.
I would too.
Only because they're playing at home. But I'm telling you, you beat Georgia, you beat one heck of a good team. And that's coming up Saturday. That's alongside NBC's who do you think the national viewing audience is going to favor? Georgia, Texas, or Michigan State, Iowa? Because that's the NBC game. They're stuck with Michigan State.
Nationally, I don't think that's even a discussion.
Let's try Lila Lansing.
No, we got to break first. Give him time.
Why does he get on me? I ought to get on you. I don't make the call on
We're up against the break. See the clock right there?
This is the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, it is Greg Ianni, former Deputy Athletic Director at Michigan State. He'll join us. We look forward to that. At 1 o'clock, ESPN Radio. At 6:45 tonight, 1240 WJIM. Red Wings hockey, they're at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, playing the New York Rangers tonight. That's on 1240 WJIM. Here on WVFN at 7:30, it is NFL Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. That's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
City Limits in Mason. What a gathering place for people who've enjoyed bowling and just recreation and get-togethers for a number of years. And it's going hot and heavy, and it's safe and sound. And you ought to see all the people in the parking lot who enjoy City Limits every single day. You can sign up for a bowling league for a special occasion 7 days a week after a game, or go watch games on the big screen TV. City Limits on Cedar Street in Mason. Everybody knows where it is, and everybody loves it. You'll love City Limits, Cedar Street in Mason, too. We always try to endorse the area's best companies. You know that through the years. Mid-Michigan has body shops galore. Number one by far I've seen is Driven Collision. Founded by Joel Laird, and what a company he has. Easy to find, I-496 at the Lansing Road exit. Up the hill, on the right, no problem. His business has grown dramatically through the years because the work is so good for the customers. You get a lifetime warranty on the work of Driven Collision, a free loaner if you need one. He works with all insurance companies. Driven Collision, 977-0955. Does your business struggle with poor cell service inside the building? Poor cell signal in the place of work can create communication problems with internal staff and outside clients. The Antenna Men are cell signal pros. They've provided solutions to clients all over Michigan, and they'll provide solutions to help your staff be more productive in a great way. Cell Signal Pros also has solutions for homeowners as well. Go to the Antenna Men and Cell Signal Pros. Google the company. It's great in many different ways. Quality Dairy, 89 great years serving the mid-Michigan area. If you live in this area, there's a Quality Dairy story near you for anything special anytime of the day. Hey, it's cider and donuts season. Nobody has cider and donuts like Quality Dairy. And download the QD mobile app because you'll get great savings with it. Some of the stores, of course, have laundromats and there's gasoline elsewhere. But through your life in mid-Michigan, you know doggone well over all these years, Quality Dairy, there to help you and serve you in the past and in the future, to be sure.
The Humana Honor Medicare Advantage Plan gives you $1,680 back each year in your Social Security check. Choose coverage that helps you keep more money in your pocket. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. The Part B Give Back benefit pays part or all of your Part B premium, and the amount may change based on the amount you pay for Part B. Limitations and restrictions may apply. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan, dedicated to serving this state and only Michigan, founded in 1949 by Michigan farmers, members of Michigan Farm Bureau, who wanted an insurance company that worked as hard as they did, gave honest service, cared about Michigan's future. More than 800 associates to serve you, nearly 450 agents over all regions of Michigan, prepared to protect you from the risks of everyday life. Check out the ratings, and you'll find that you always win with Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan.
Now is a great time to start your holiday shopping at Meijer. Save big this week with our early holiday deals. Save $40 on a Gourmet air fryer. Save $30 when you buy a Keurig K-Slim single-serve coffee maker. And for the competitive ones on your gift list, select board games are 20% off. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide. Available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Custom-built design and renovation in Meridian Township in Michigan is ready to renovate your home, build you a deck, redo your bathroom, your kitchen, and you see those custom-built signs all over the mid-Michigan area. Call for a consultation at 881-9871. They have so many tremendous opportunities for you. If you're looking for a pro home remodeling contractor in our area, look no further than Custom Built. Contact them today for free estimates. What a great company for renovation. Cottage and Gourmet Pizza is the official pizza of the Sparrow Stout on Sports. 6 locations in our area with a vast menu for, of course, dine in, carry out. They'll deliver, go pick up, all that good stuff. George Hoover says, hey, if you haven't done it yet, try Cottage and Gourmet Pizza.
Back to the best in sports talk now on the only station serving Lansing with the best sports talk for 30 years. The Game, 7:30 a.m.
From the Driven Collision Studios, as we roll on, Lyle's on a guest line on Monday. He's on the Sparrow Stout on Sports. Good morning. I would have had you up before the break, but Brock would refuse to do it. So your problem's with him, not me.
Just killing time. Back to the health issues or safety issues of the National Football League. I was watching that Bengals game last night, and boy, right in that last few minutes, they just tattooed that Joe Burrow, and I mean his head hit that ground and just bounded like a volleyball. And of course, they took him right to the tent. But was there a movement at one time just recently to suggest that they go back to natural grass?
Well, the Players Association a year ago made a big deal out of they want it, but do you think that they're going to tear out? Well, first of all, you got indoor stadiums, so what are you going to do about that?
Well, doesn't Arizona, isn't that grass?
Well, some do. Some of them can put them in and take it out.
That's what Arizona does.
But Ford Field can't do that. Nope. Minnesota can't do that.
When Arizona built that stadium, they built it to put where you can roll in and roll away a grass field. None of the other so-called modern stadiums have that. That's the only one, I believe.
You know, you bounce your head down on that grass at Lambeau in January.
Still doesn't feel good.
I think that could hurt. You know what I mean? I mean, that's all I know.
Maybe that's what happened to me. I don't know. But now I see that Nick Sirianni from the Eagles. He's in hot water because he got in a feud with he was telling the fans that they were number one, and they were, back and forth. It's just not good to be a football fan in New York or Philadelphia. They're just not very good right now.
Well, what about Dallas? I mean, how would you like to be? What do you think that Dallas is? Like I said, so ESPN.
Didn't they just get 2 contracts, 2 big ones, for the quarterback and the wide receiver?
Oh, he's up to what, $60 million a year, Brock? Is that what he is?
Yep, and yeah, exactly. It's just once again, Dallas overhyped, overrated.
I could see you working for Jerry Jones.
Well, I think that's part of the problem with them is, I mean, I don't see Belichick going in there and just giving his reputation away to Jerry Jones.
Well,
I don't see that.
Bill Parcells will tell him about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that. But when they looked like they quit to me in the fourth quarter, but I understand that. When you're down 47-9 and we got the whole fourth quarter to play or close to it,
and nice job by the Lions getting out pretty much all the starters after that.
At least you got a chance to see Cooper Rush play a little bit.
And Hendon Hooker.
You
need to see if he can do anything. And he threw a few passes.
He's going to be okay.
I went to the World Series by that.
He looks so much faster than golf, when he's out there running around. But, golf is that trick play. He's got too many trick plays. Whether they're trying to get it to skip around one play or something.
I say the whole season for them is he has to stay healthy. It's as simple as that.
You've said that since August.
I mean, if he doesn't stay, you can lose some of these other guys. But to me,
losing Hutchinson's big.
Well, that doesn't help.
Big.
No, but to me, Goff's the season. I mean, they cannot lose him.
Is he done for the year? I mean, a broken tibia can heal in 6 weeks.
I wonder if he'll ever be back with that kind of an injury.
I heard 4 to 6 months. He's done for the year.
I mean,
oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll get an update this morning, and we'll go from there.
All right.
There you go. We'll say good morning to Greg Ianni. We always appreciate it when he comes in with us, the former, now retired Deputy Athletic Director of Michigan State. Homecoming's kind of a big week for the whole staff, isn't it? No matter how the season's going. I mean, it's a little different. Does the department have to do things a little bit differently for home? Did you ever ride in the homecoming parade?
Oh, hell no.
I would have waved at you, I mean, everybody else seems to be in that thing.
Oh, everybody.
And to be honest with you, it's very popular in the community.
The community loves it.
The community loves this
thing. Big deal.
If I had our grandkids here, I thought, and they're not, but I thought, you know what, now Friday night, because the weather's probably going to be pretty good, they'd love to go to the homecoming parade.
Absolutely.
It's very well done.
Really well done.
It's very well.
It's it's really grown over the years, and they do a nice job with it. But as far as the athletic, it's a game. Game's a game.
So there's another, and we're waiting here for the kick time for the Michigan game. And I told you 3 weeks ago or whatever it was, our sales guy came over and told us these games are going to be at night. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's exactly how, but I went in and saw him the other day. I said, you were absolutely prophetic on the Iowa game. He told us, he said, my NBC guys say that's a night game, but they told him Michigan they thought would be too, but I can't say that's going to happen because they haven't announced it yet.
We'll talk about the Michigan game next week, but that's going to, my thought is first team to 13 points wins the game.
In the Michigan State game?
Michigan's got no offense, no quarterback. And Michigan State has no offensive line. So
in the last 2 weeks, though, on a bye week, Michigan works on its offense and Michigan State works on its offensive line. Can an extra week make a difference given the fact that Michigan's a 1.5-point favorite at Illinois and Iowa's a 5.5-point favorite here?
You know what, Tim? You can X and O all you want, okay? But if you don't have the horses at positions, so if the same guys are playing offensive line for Michigan State, they might get a little better, but not they won't make a quantum leap. And Michigan doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, that's been proven. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, Michigan's 3 quarterbacks could practice throwing the ball for a week straight. It's not going to change. They are who they are.
Who do you like at Illinois?
I'm like you. I don't trust Illinois. They're going to get all jacked up. The place will be sold out. I don't trust Illinois. It wouldn't surprise me if Michigan won that game.
And in the Michigan State case, obvious. And now Iowa's got a huge defensive front. Iowa's still, even though they got 40 points on Washington,
they're very physical up front.
I mean, State's going to have to play much better offensively.
They're going to have trouble running the ball again. So then, you know, I mean, this isn't rocket science. You've seen it from Michigan State as the season's progressed. They take away the run because Michigan State cannot run the ball. And then they put all that pressure on a young quarterback. They don't protect him very well either.
No.
And the poor guy's running around, you know, for his life. And so then when he makes a turnover, everybody's all apoplectic about it because, that guy's got to stop turning the ball over. Well, good Lord, he's running for his life most of the time. So I don't see that changing, Tim. And teams with good defensive fronts are going to cause Michigan State problems.
Yeah,
they just are.
I agree with that. I'm not saying they can't win the game.
I agree.
Because I don't trust Iowa.
Exactly. Well, Iowa, yeah, they may not score. Michigan State's got pretty good defense.
I mean, the game that Iowa had, so Iowa went to Minnesota, and I thought that was an impressive win up there at 31-14 because it's kind of a rivalry game. It was in prime time, and I thought, Iowa's. And then I watched them play Ohio State, and they were horrendous.
Yeah, but Ohio
offense.
State makes a lot of teams look in Columbus.
In Columbus, yeah. In Columbus. So, but it was a 7-0 game at halftime.
It was. Yeah.
I mean, the game, and then Iowa gets the ball to start the second half, and I thought,
well, they're moving the ball, and then there was a tip ball for an interception.
And then that was it.
And then, then the dam broke. So, but Michigan State's at home. They've had 2 weeks to get a little healthier. So I'm not saying they can't win, but they've got to overcome that challenge up front.
I thought the 2 games Saturday that were really, really good were Penn State and Southern Cal, and of course Oregon and Ohio State.
There was a third one. Did you happen to watch LSU and Mississippi?
I did. I
was watching those 3 games. I went from.
I was shocked LSU pulled it out.
Oh, they had no business.
Even though they were playing at home,
they had no business.
They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
That on LSU, they had the Heisman Trophy winner.
They had a quarterback.
After they had a quarterback, and this guy, I mean, he was like 19 for 52. But they won, but the thing is, Ole Miss, I'm thinking they'll go up and down the field, but LSU's defense kind of hung in there. I'll tell you what, and that is such a tough place to play.
Really
you
is.
talk about hard places to play. But I thought, man, Brian Kelly, you got to get a quarterback to replace that Daniel. This guy, I mean, but. When they had to make a play at the end, they made a play, and Ole Miss didn't make a play. Ole Miss is better defensively than it used to be.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Because they used to win those games 54-52.
Right.
Now, Ole Miss has got some guys that you knew they'd be you go to play at LSU, it's going to be a battle.
The only time LSU was ahead in that game, Tim,
was the end.
I mean, come on.
The only time was the end.
I thought the Penn State win over Southern Cal was a big win for Penn State because they haven't won big games on the road and against good teams. Now, Southern Cal's not a great team, but they're a good team.
Oh, well, they've lost them by 3 points, all of them.
Yeah.
And I thought they got a horrible deal at Michigan the way that ended. And then at Minnesota, they got sloppy and lost by 3. And in this game, we got a full house in the Coliseum. The sun's out. It's 80. It's a beautiful day. And they got them down 20-6 at halftime.
Yeah.
Which is where Penn State might fold. No. But Penn State's got athletes, too.
They do.
I think their quarterback's getting better. You can tell he's played a year, and he understands the pressure on him to produce if you're the Penn State quarterback.
They can run the ball. They've got some wide receivers. They got a very, very good tight end, that kid that plays all over the field.
And their secondary's pretty good, too.
Defense is good, Tim. Yeah, they're good up front.
I mean, they get Ohio State at home on November 2nd.
That'll be interesting. That will have to be a whiteout, and it's got to be one of those whiteouts.
I mean, they get Ohio State at Penn. I mean, which means you're going to pin another loss on a very, very good team.
No question.
I still think Ohio State's as good as anybody. I don't know how they would be against Texas. I don't know that. We're going to find out. Texas has got Georgia Saturday night.
Yeah, but it's at Texas.
It's at Texas, and they just annihilated Oklahoma. That game used to be a big deal. But Texas just dominates the thing now. Oklahoma just doesn't have the athletes that Texas has got.
Particularly on the offensive side of the ball, they can't move, can't score.
But to Brock's point, do you realize Ohio State could lose at Penn State and finish 10-2 and not play in the Big Ten title game, and Georgia could lose at Texas and finish 10-2 and not play in the SEC title game, and the two of them could play each other for the national title, which shows you how hard it is to win these league titles.
No question, especially as big as these leagues are.
As big as these leagues are now, with all the good teams that are in these leagues, because you can't escape a schedule now without playing a couple of tough teams. You can't escape that. Michigan State finally has got Ohio State where they want them next year off the schedule.
Here's a prediction. Oregon's got to go to Michigan. Okay?
Oh, that'll be tight.
Michigan will give them
everything
they want.
All they want.
Oh, at home? Absolutely.
Want. It's going to be a little cold. I think it's in November. Early November.
Michigan will be very motivated.
Oh, I'm telling you.
They'll be motivated.
They'll give them everything they want.
I don't think Oregon's up and down the field offense works the same way 3 time zones away than it does in that cauldron they've got back at home like that.
Not when it's going to be maybe.
I was surprised, though, when they showed the stands at Oregon, there was a lot of red in there. But I don't know, how did Ohio State get all those tickets?
They show up.
And how did they get them all out there?
They're like
These
roaches.
airplanes, there's only so many flights out there. I said, how did they get them all out there?
Ohio State fans are like roaches. They just show up. There they are. You don't know where they come from.
But, that to me was the best part about college football, because to me, neither one of those teams is a fraud. When it went back and forth, I thought, the other guy can score too.
Oh, yeah.
That just because you just took the lead doesn't mean these guys. And I thought Ohio State's quarterback had a great game in that game.
Yep.
All they're going to talk about is that he ran out of time at the end.
Right.
But to get him there, he was dead accurate all night long. And he looks a little quicker than and now they run him a little more, too.
It was a dandy. That was a heck of a game.
All right.
Heck of a game.
Join us after the news break here, okay? Culligan Water Hotline's 342-63. This is the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
The Humana Honor Medicare Advantage Plan gives you $1,680 back each year in your Social Security check. Choose coverage that helps you keep more money in your pocket. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. The Part B Give Back benefit pays part or all of your Part B premium, and the amount may change based on the amount you pay for Part B. Limitations and restrictions may apply. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
It's not just sports, it's a lifestyle.
Right on.
We are The Game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, East Lancer.
Halloween. Ready to level up your career? Text DISH to 44043 now to dive into a world of exciting technician opportunities at DISH. From cutting-edge technology to a supportive work environment, DISH offers the perfect platform for your success. Connect with us today to discover how you can be part of a dynamic team driving innovation. Connect today and join the DISH family, where innovation meets opportunity. Text DISH to 44043 to kickstart your journey towards a rewarding career.
We've got all the sports you can handle, minus the sweaty jerseys and dirty jock straps.
Sick.
We're The Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the second hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on The Game, 7:30 a.m. You can call the Dean on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or drop him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in Lansing, here's the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout.
Hour number 2 this morning is brought to you by the 2 Wash World locations. Matt Mattis says, we got Okemos and Jolly Road for you. We got I-96 at the MLK exit. $2 off on Wednesdays. Gift cards available. Frequency discounts. Always free vacuum service. And what we think is the best wash you'll find anywhere at any time. The Wash World locations. Greg Ianni is with us. Culligan Water Hotline is 342-63. So last week, the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference athletic directors got together. And amongst the issues, apparently there are outside firms that have approached the conferences and said, paraphrasing, we'll fund you, we'll take over everything, and we'll basically run you, pay for everything with a 40-team league or whatever. And apparently, even though the offer financially sounded great, it did not sound like either conference had any interest.
Correct.
And It does sound, if nothing else, that the two of them, along with the networks, are going to try to find ways in the future to have Big Ten ACC football matchups. Now, who makes them and how many you play, that I don't know. I don't think they've got that figured yet. I think they wanted to get together and eliminate the outside forces that want to come in and buy college sports, pay them and run them. They haven't got to that yet.
Right. And I don't think they'll get there because they have enough capital coming in that they can they can run those programs. It's the other. I've been reading a little bit about these equity firms coming in.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And buying into these athletic departments. And I don't know, Tim. That maybe someday they'll get there. It just leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth.
But could an equity firm come in and try to literally fund one school's athletic department?
Sure.
I would think some schools might have to look at that as an alternative to either shutting down sports, because no matter what they all say, Ohio State, if they're going to slow down their other sports, and they've got like 30 of them, and they've already said basically men's gymnastics will remain a varsity sport, but no scholarships. Is that trend going to continue where, we're still going to have a team? I mean, it's kind of a clever way to say we're not cutting sports, but you're kind of cutting the sport because you're going to save the massive investment you have in that sport. But there'll be no expectations, but you're basically a varsity sport as opposed to a club sport.
Yeah. Well, I think that's coming. I think some schools are going to take the next step. I do think there's going to be sport programs that are eliminated. There's only so much money, Tim. But the reason these schools don't want to go to an private equity company, they're not investing because they're generous. They're investing because they want to make money. Okay, so then they're going to have input on how their money is spent. That's going to be part of the deal. Okay, so it's going to be run even more like a business. So the decisions that are made based on equity, based on things other than the bottom line, are going to go by the wayside. It's going to become a bottom line thing.
I mean, suppose an equity firm went to the Mid-American Conference and made them some kind of financial offer that on their terms would stabilize you for whatever length of time there is. I don't know. I can't speak for the MAC. I don't know where they are with all this, but I know what they don't make, right? Mm-hmm. They don't bring in a ton of revenue. They certainly don't have much name, image, and likeness money, if any of that. Would they be susceptible? And for that matter, would an equity firm even have interest in a mid-major conference?
I doubt it, because I don't think you can make money on it. Okay, they would have interest in the
big time
D1 school that there's potential for revenue to be generated, because again, it's not they're not doing it because they're good people. They're doing it because they want to make money.
Well, for instance, if you're a major school and you want to compete with the big boys, but you don't have the money like Ohio State and Texas, but they're going to come in and basically buy us. And then we tell them we need this to pay our athletes. I would think somebody would be susceptible to that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if Colorado reportedly already went and talked to the Saudis, and it didn't work out, but they went and talked to the Saudis who got to live golf.
Sure.
Because where are we going to get the money to compete with who we play against? Yeah. It didn't work out. But if you're thinking in that regard, why not an American equity fund if it's even interested in the first place?
I'm sure some schools are going to look at it, Tim, but I think they're going to find they're going to lose control. Because a group isn't going to invest tens of millions of dollars into something unless they have some say in how the money gets spent, because they want money. They want to make some money on the deal. And so you're going to lose control. You may make decisions that aren't congruent with the philosophies of the university.
No question.
It gets dicey, Tim. It gets dicey.
And if you think that education has been limited for some of these athletes now, imagine an equity fund with it. I mean, all they want to do is make, like you say, we'll name the stadium after us. We'll let you know who's going to stay and who's going to go. We'll hire and fire the coaches, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I'll be, is there going to, however, I think this financial thing has got to be addressed, right?
Oh,
even the
question.
Southeastern Conference commissioner, I tell you, he must be powerful, because when this Greg Sankey speaks, and he pulls no punches. What he say the other day says the NCAA's got to come up with something that is going to stand up in court. Everything they do doesn't stand up in court.
He and Tony Petitti are, no question Sankey's the most powerful guy. He's 1A, Petitti's 1B. Because those guys control the two largest conferences that are valued the most, that drive the most revenues, that get into the most homes, whatever metric you want to use, those two programs or conferences, I should say, check the box. So what they're going to do is they're going to make their mark, and they're going to control it. They already control it. They're going to control it even more, Tim. As far as the playoffs, you're not going to have one automatic seed from each one of those conferences. You're going to have two automatic seeds from each. They're going to get 4 of the 16 right off the bat.
Well, I mean, even now with the first year of these playoffs, Big Ten and the national playoffs, right now you've got Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State that would appear to me that you can make a case that they're playoff worthy in terms of talent.
Yes.
But Ohio State plays Penn State, and Oregon's got to go to Michigan yet.
Right.
How many losses? And I don't know where Indiana fits into all this because they still have 6 games to play, and they had a bye week. And then you get the teams with 1 loss left, like Illinois and Nebraska. Where do they fit into all this? And look at how many good SEC teams there are.
Yeah. Well, the 3 teams you mentioned, the top 3 teams, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, they'll get in. I'll make that prediction right now.
I would think they would.
Right. So the SEC is going to have,
even with 3 losses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they'll get in. And so then the SEC is going to have Texas, Georgia, Alabama, or Tennessee,
or A&M,
So there's 3 there. So if you just take those simple math,
that's half the field.
That's half the field. They're going to have half the field, Tim. And when they go to 16, and they're going to 16.
Yes, it will.
They're going to 16.
Eventually, it's a matter of when, not if.
They want to get 4 automatic bids for those 2, and they'll get them because they're going to control the playoff. That's why they're getting together.
They're going to force everybody else to like it. It says we're doing it this way, and you're going to like it.
Because think about it. When they sit in a room like they did last week, they represent the biggest media outlets: ESPN, Fox, CBS, NBC. They're all represented in that room. They don't need those networks don't need another conference to be represented. They're represented in that room. So when they start scheduling these games, as you and I talked about, we've predicted this, that these garbage games are going to go by the wayside, Tim, and the networks, through the commissioners, are going to get the games they want, okay? And every network will benefit with just by these 2 leagues doing that. So you can see where it's going. You have to be Einstein to figure this out.
Well, the other thing is in this first playoff, I would think if you're one of the networks, you almost want teams like Ohio State and Georgia to lose but get in, because then you're going to see them more often.
More games.
You're going to get more games with the teams you want to see.
There's no question.
Do you want to watch on December 20th Ohio State play a home game against whoever?
Whomever. That's good TV.
Or
that's
Ohio State on the road at not Georgia.
Not the first round.
Well, if they lose 2 games, they could.
Well, whoever
finish 9 through 12,
they're going to get seeded.
True,
they'll get seeded.
Yeah, but if they finish 9 through 12, Ohio State on the road at some 1-loss team that's really, really good. Sure. Miami of Florida.
Big television.
But then what happens if you get some monumental 12-5 mismatch? And I'm thinking out loud, could you get Army at Ohio State?
You're going to get that. You're going to get that, just right, because you're going to have a
5, 12, 6, 11.
A group of 5, you're going to get one of those.
Because they're going to get one in there. One of those group of 5 conferences. Somebody like a James Madison's going to get in there.
Right. Boise State. Boise's not bad.
Boise's they yak about that guy being the Heisman Trophy leader. I'll believe that when I see that.
Right.
To be honest with you, that doesn't mean he's not good, but Boise doesn't have the same.
But you're going to get that 5-12 game. You're going to have that.
Alabama at Penn State first round.
There you go.
Could happen.
There's a blockbuster.
Well, to me, on December 20th, in days of old, you could watch the Bahamas Bowl with Western Kentucky playing Miami of Ohio on December 20th, or you can get Alabama at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Exactly.
As a viewer. That speaks for itself.
No question, Tim. So, you can just see where this is going. So, the meeting, I was listening to a pundit talk about the meeting last week, and they said, it wasn't blockbuster, but it was sending a message. The meeting was sending a message that, we're together, we're going to move this thing in the direction we want it to move, and just be prepared. And they've got every TV network behind them, which is amazing. So, because they're contracted with all those networks.
Which is why the Big Ten was smart to get all the networks involved. CBS, NBC, Fox.
No question.
They got the other three networks, and the SEC's just got ESPN.
Yeah. And but with all their platforms, though.
True, yeah.
ESPN,
Internet
ESPN2,
platforms.
ABC. They've got all those.
That's true. Good point.
Knowing how it works today, are you surprised Michigan State Iowa was the NBC game?
Well, I didn't look at the rest of the schedule, Tim, but they've got to take something.
Yeah.
Right? And so Iowa's lost one game or two?
They've lost one. They've lost Ohio State and Iowa State.
Yeah, 2 top 10 teams. So, Iowa, I don't know, Iowa must drive some numbers on the TV. So, they've got to take somebody. And so that doesn't really surprise me. Because they can't take Ohio State or Michigan and Penn State every week.
Well, yeah,
Oregon,
I think
they can't do that.
I was told Fox took Nebraska at Indiana for 12 noon.
Yes,
12
noon.
And then
That's correct.
And then CBS took Michigan at Illinois, which makes sense.
Yeah. That Michigan-Illinois used to be a huge rivalry game.
Late 80s it was.
Yeah, that was a knockdown. And even if you go back in the early history of the Big Ten, those were two of the powerhouse programs, Illinois and Michigan. So there's a background. It hasn't been lately, but that place will be filled. It'll be packed. Those Illini will be all jacked up.
Who do you like, Nebraska, Indiana?
Oh, I think because it's at Indiana, I'll take Indiana.
Yeah, I get to there's a trust factor here for me on both of them, but Nebraska on the road and Indiana at home's got a little swagger.
Indiana's coming off a bye, right?
They're coming off a bye.
They'll be healthy.
So they'll be healthy. They'll be, and what they can do is they can look awful for a while and then just start scoring it well.
Yeah.
Now, they haven't done it against a team like Nebraska, who's good defensively, but I'm not convinced Nebraska's going to be able to just go stride for stride offensively with them.
That coach has got that place all wired up, man. They're jacked up. They're excited. So it's going to be tough to beat them down there. Now, would it surprise me if Nebraska won? No.
And then I watched Iowa State at West Virginia Saturday night. In West Virginia, they're going nuts. It's packed. It's a big game and all that. And Iowa State calmly just plays it out, wins by 2 touchdowns. And that guy, Matt Campbell, on a side, I said to Brock, why hasn't that guy got picked off for $100 trillion? Somebody, I know he's been approached. But to me, can his marketability at Iowa State get any higher than what it is right now?
You would think.
And they might make the playoff as well.
Correct.
They're not bad either.
Correct.
I don't think they're 1, 2, 3, but they're not bad. You got to play them.
Well,
how he got those play, and what in the world of name, image, and likeness money does Iowa State have?
Good question. That's a good question.
More in a moment. We'll take a quick break. Calico Water Hotline. I got some emails for you. 342-63. This is the Monday Sparrow Stud on Sports. One of the great recreation centers in our area for more than 50 years. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl just west of the airport. Fun for everyone every day all year long. Golf, bowling, food, banquets, parties, and so much more. Check out the brand new 5,600-foot LED screen in the bowling center. No other house has such a feature in America. Bowling leagues and golf indoors are out all year long and so affordable where everyone can have fun. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl. So affordable and so much fun for you always.
When you're ready for checking that earns interest and gives you perks, Merc Perks Plus from Mercantile Bank is here. With a competitive interest rate and perks like travel services, cashback rewards, and identity protection, Merc Perks Plus has everything you need for your busy lifestyle. Merc Perks Plus also offers discounts on consumer loans and access to almost 40,000 fee-free MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mercbank.com/mercperksplus. Member FDIC.
The official printer of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, ASAP Printing at the Jolly Okemos Plaza. plenty of parking in front. Call 349-7300. This is Ed Geil's 31st year with a company that has grown every single year. Posters and signs, they're a specialty, but even business cards or anything smaller is there for you. You want the most reliable printer? Take our word for it. You don't need to go bid anywhere else. ASAP Printing for you in the Jolly Okemos Strip Mall. Mexican food like nowhere else. The Qdoba restaurants in our area, especially Okemos East Lansing and Clifford Street Frandor, serving customized burritos, crave-worthy tacos, and so much more. You can order online, and there are many health-oriented options as well. Great for carry-out and catering. In Okemos, call 580-8121. Always popular, always tasty, with great service every day. Qdoba, for the Mexican taste sensation everyone enjoys every day in every way. You'll love the Mexican Qdoba restaurants.
This is the Lansing Sports Network Minute from the Lansing Sports Network News Desk.
I'm Steve Goff. The big news comes from the Big D, Dallas, Texas, as the Lions rolled up, won big, and shocked the Cowboys Sunday afternoon.
Jared takes, tosses to Montgomery, flips it back to Amon-Ra. He gives it to Goff, who's going to throw downfield. He's got Laporta, makes the grab. 20, 15, 10-5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
That's Dan Miller on the call. Now, later on in the game, after a sack by NFL sacks leader Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions got some bad news. Hutchinson was carted off the field with a broken tibia from a gruesome injury. Hutchinson has already had surgery and will remain in Dallas for the time being. We'll keep you updated, and we wish him a speedy and healthy recovery. From the studios of the Lansing Sports Network, I'm Steve Goff.
Find more and stay up to date at LansingSportsNetwork.com or in the Lansing Sports Network app.
At Humana, our Medicare Advantage plans give you coverage and care you can count on, along with guided support to help you feel your best. You could have a plan with a $0 premium or an all-in-one plan that may include medical and prescription coverage, as well as routine dental, vision, and hearing. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
The iconic Coral Gables restaurant on Grand River Avenue in East Lansing, more than 90 years young, with so many loyal customers, so pleased that Coral Gables has survived the pandemic and is bigger and better than ever. Catering, carry-out, employment opportunities, all of that at 337-1311. And the fish fries are spectacular on Friday night. When you've got some time to spare with friends and family, you know what the history's been like around that restaurant just east of the campus, Grand River Avenue. You'll always enjoy Coral Gables Restaurant, East Lansing. Did you know that Michigan residents are missing out on a staggering $105 million every year? Yes, we are talking about Michiganders not returning their deposit containers, and we can do so much better in this state. So take them back. It's your beaches, your roads, and your dime. It's worth your time. Let's keep Michigan green and our wallets a little fuller. Don't let that $100 million end up in the landfills. The message from Schupan & Sons, a great company in Michigan dedicated to total recycling. One of the great success stories I've seen in Lansing business through the years is the growth of Desmond Ferguson's Moneyball Sportswear, founded in 2002. The former standout area basketball player already has a gorgeous store in the Meridian Mall, and his new headquarters location now at 927 West Saginaw in Lansing, it's up and running. Moneyball outfits hundreds of athletic teams worldwide, and its athletic leisure wear draws rave reviews. If you have questions, call 393-0763. You're a winner when you outfit your team or yourself in Moneyball Sportswear. Way to go, Desmond Ferguson. Moneyball, the only way to ball. This could be your favorite sports bar in Lansing. Arts Pub, Kalamazoo Street in Lansing, serving all three shifts. Downtown in Lansing, 977-1033 for questions or carryout. The menu is at artspublansing.com. Closes at 11 p.m. each day. Outdoor seating, serves great cocktails, no reservations needed. Mellow game day hangout, serving a wide menu of pub grub and pizza and a shuffleboard table. Greg Sinacropi has done a great job making Arts Pub spectacular downtown. All right, party plans for the holidays. You've got Royal Scott Golf and Lanes. They do 1 trillion parties during the year. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl, you go ahead. You can try if you're on the west side. If you're on the east side at Williamston, party dates available at Berkshire and in Williamston. Call 655-4694.
From Spartan Stadium to Ford Field, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident on the game 7:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios, a Driven Collision story of the day, looking at all the sports from this last weekend, and we'll look ahead. I'll get to you with the NFL and Major League Baseball. You were telling me today's the day the Michigan State kickoff time is due to be announced. You don't think every time this happens, it's right after we get off the air.
Right.
Which would be after 1 o'clock. Why, when you say 12:30 Central Time?
Because that's where the Big Ten office is.
So you're thinking we go by what Chicago wants to do.
Usually they do, yes.
So let me rephrase it. Would you be shocked if the Michigan State game's at night?
No. Anytime they can put Michigan in those high visibility time slots, they're going to, because Michigan brings numbers, brings eyes to the televisions.
I mean, you realize that so far, State has had no noon kickoffs, and this will be, with this game Saturday, this will mark 6 of the 12 games during the season at night.
Yeah, how about that?
Because they've got Purdue on November 20th, a Friday night. I'm tired of having the question asked because I can't answer it. Why would Purdue, Friday night, November 22nd at 8 o'clock, Purdue's at Michigan State?
Yep.
And it was announced in the preseason that was when it was going to be played. It's not like that's something that got moved back. I don't quite know exactly how all of the arrangement is, who chooses here, when, and why. But to your point, you're not going to make big Saturday out of Michigan State. But like you say, if it comes down to that and we can put Michigan on in prime time, especially from Ann Arbor.
Yeah. Hey, Brock, look up and see what other games are being played.
On October 26th.
October 26th, Big Ten games.
October 26th.
Okay. Hang on one second.
Yeah.
On October 26th, what else is going on?
Yeah.
Because the Penn State-Ohio State game from Penn State's not till November 2nd. You know that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Right.
And that's the day. And, the kick time has also not been announced for Indiana at Michigan State. What if Indiana's in there undefeated, which still is possible?
Yeah.
I mean, that's on the table.
Computer decided to go slow.
So for November 2nd, you also have, besides Ohio State and Penn State, you have Indiana at Michigan State.
Okay, I got it right. I got it here. All the Saturday games on October 26th are TBD, except Northwestern at Iowa. That's a 3:30 kick.
Okay, so that's on CBS.
So that's
it doesn't say CBS, but that's probably what it's going to be.
That's CBS. So that one.
And Rutgers plays at USC Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox.
What other games are played that day?
Illinois at Oregon.
Okay.
Penn State at Wisconsin. Nebraska at Ohio State. Washington at Indiana. Maryland at Minnesota.
You got a lot of options.
There are
a lot of options.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 4 or 5 games to me that you can say, well, we can understand that. We can, if I'm a network, though, I'm waiting till the last moment to see who's got the best record of all those.
Yeah, because they're going to want to put, Ohio State, Oregon. They want to put Oregon in some of those good slots. But you know what, Tim? Wouldn't surprise me if it's a night game. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know what his credibility is. He doesn't either. He just, I told you, our general sales manager 3-4 weeks ago came over, bounding into the office, where it's not because he's a fan. It's because Channel 10 would get those games from NBC.
Correct.
He said the NBC guys told me that the Iowa and Michigan games are going to be at night. Have you guys heard that? So, of course, we call. No, it's way too early. Well, the Iowa game's at night. That's 1 down, 1 to go. It's 1 down, 1 to go. Yeah. And, of course, Channel 10's rooting for the Michigan State game to go to NBC at night.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
He says to me, we make money on the Olympics and we make money on the elections, yes, and we make money on the NFL Sunday, we do, but when we get Michigan State on TV on Saturday night, we really make money.
Yep. Yeah. I'd say there's a good shot at it, Tim. I would,
And all I can remember is hearing all the Michigan State people say, we don't want night games, we don't want night games, we don't want night. And it used to be, it was something, it was always going to be kind of the Friday night of Labor Day weekend, but that didn't interfere, but that was a holiday weekend.
But we scheduled that, though, so people could
get out of town.
Knowing what our fans do, what they like.
And it didn't interfere with the high schools because they play Thursday.
Exactly.
And they play Thursday so all of their people can get out of town for the holiday weekend if they want.
That's correct.
So that kind of fits into place no matter who the home game is. And it sells well over here, in my opinion, just regardless of the opponent. It's the first game of the season. The weather's good. It's Friday night. It's a big deal, no matter who you play, right?
See, to me, Tim, an occasional night game is good, is nice. It's different. But college football was meant to be. Okay, this Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. It's supposed to be 70 degrees Saturday. It's going to be in the 60s on Friday and Thursday. It's going to be a beautiful fall weekend, okay? And they're going to be playing at night.
Yeah.
To me, that's not.
I mean, I guess you
football.
can spend time on campus tailgating in the good weather, but by that time, by the kickoff, it will be dark too.
Oh, it will.
Because, it's getting darker and darker earlier and earlier, and that's actually, it's not a 7:30 kick. It's more like 7:40, 7:42.
Correct.
Because we need more pregame.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely.
We got to have more pregame.
Absolutely.
We can't just kick it at 7:30. We got to have more pregame. So we're keeping our eyes on this to see whether Michigan or Michigan State would be a. Does Michigan have the same disdain, if you know from their people, against night games that Michigan State's people do? And the angle here is simply because it strains your security, strains your staff, and gets people out so late at night. Is that the
and you know what, Tim? It's not as safe because you can't light everything up so that people crossing streets and all that kind of thing. When I was, when I was still involved, our colleagues in Ann Arbor weren't high on night games, particularly Michigan State.
Well, in fact, they didn't play their first one for quite a while, right?
It was quite a while.
And it was at Notre Dame, remember?
Yes.
Yeah,
2011.
Yeah.
The Notre Dame game, which, of course, I missed the thing tremendously, Michigan and Notre Dame. It didn't matter who you hated. You wanted to watch because you were interested.
Absolutely.
Whether it's down there
No question.
or whether it's in
And they're
Ann
going to do
Arbor.
a home and home
Two
late.
great brands.
What, in the 2030s, I think.
But yeah, it just Tim, there are more issues, and then you've got all the students that are going back onto campus, back into campus, or back into in Michigan they're in the middle of the city anyways, but here they're going back across the street, they're going back into town, and it just creates a whole nother set of issues for law enforcement, and it's a hard day. It's just a difficult day.
The last home game, I was driving through to get for the tailgate show. I've had to find a new route to make it a little easier through the neighborhoods and all that. I was shocked on Abbott Road, over by the community center over there. There are parking lots for the game for $20. Do you know how long a walk that still is? You used to be, $20, and they're getting it.
I saw that East Lansing High School is
they're parking cars.
For
the football game.
Yeah.
To make money.
That's why I get there 2 hours early.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to know your way around the area to find a place to park for a football game where you don't have to pay a fee. Like, how does Frandor Shopping Center deal with that? What do they do? Because that's free parking for their retailers and merchants.
Yep.
What do they do to keep them out? And for that matter, the restaurants and all the retailers there with parking for their customers. I know my good friend Dewey Bramson at the Harrison Roadhouse. I said, how do you deal with that? He says, we got a way to do it. Don't worry. But he said, we want that. We want customers for any event over there. Correct. And he said, we got a better deal with the Breslin Center than we do Spartan Stadium, because the Breslin Center is a closer
right down
walk.
The street, yeah.
So he's got that all figured out. I mean, but when I remember, it used to be that in some of these neighborhoods you could just park on the street free or park on campus. There isn't hardly any place you can park free to go to a football game anymore.
When I was a kid, we would park in the neighborhoods when we would go to the Michigan games. Be on the west of the stadium, where the press box is. Those neighborhoods back in there, you could park on those streets back in there. You can't do that anymore.
Now you got to park on the lawns.
You could park on the lawns then. It got closer. Now, I mean, those people paid their mortgages with what they.
Well, I want to know, to all of those homeowners that park cars in Ann Arbor on their lawns for the mission, how do they do their income tax?
Cash, baby.
And not only that, some of those places are $40, $50.
Oh, yeah.
Per car, per vehicle.
And the closer you get to the stadium,
it goes up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Brock, what is it? What Ann Arbor Pioneer, I know that's high too.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over $100 now.
It's not cheap. I mean, if you go to these games anymore, that's why I say for the Michigan State game, if that's another night game, and you got to get rid of 110,000 people at 11:30 at night. With their infrastructure issues, although I think they've improved it down there greatly through the years. I was there last year. They've changed everything. Those streets aren't the same. We'll just get out. They're all one-way leaving the stadium, getting out of there.
Correct.
Oh yeah, on Main Street? Yeah, it's going west.
But if you're parked, Tim, at Michigan, if you're parked around the stadium, like in the media lot, I used to park in the media lot. That's where they. Try getting out of there. Try getting out of there.
I remember the years going down there and doing post-game interviews, and you're in the locker room, and you figure, well, the good news is, the game's been over 90 minutes, but I'll get out of here right away. Not so fast, my friend. Because a lot of people, knowing that, will stay and tailgate afterward to let some of that clear. Yeah. Notre Dame does that all. Those people never go because they play at 3:30 almost every week. So, like Tom says, they're done at 6:30, but those people aren't leaving until 9. Now they got the post-game tailgate, and they've set it up with the TVs and all that. I mean, a lot of these tailgaters aren't amateurs.
Oh, no. They got it down.
I mean, they got it down. They know the drill. And I think that's one reason some people leave some of these games early is because they want to get out of there and beat the traffic and figure out a way to do it. I mean, if you're over here long enough, you've got to figure it. I like some of these guys that call us on the air and tell us, we're tailgating. How many are you going to have? Oh, about 70 or 80. That's a lot of effort. And you got to be in better shape than the players to get. And you're over there 4 hours early, and then you're over there 2 hours after the game. Man, it's a
big deal.
It's a challenge. We've got a quick break. Cullingan Water Hotline to join us, 300-4263. We'll get to the pros. What does Greg think? Lions, Tigers, baseball, football, NFL, pro, amateur, the whole deal. Next, when we return with a Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. More with Greg Ianni after this break and into the 12 o'clock hour. As soon as we're done at 1 o'clock, ESPN Radio. Then at 3, full 3 hours of The Huge Show. At 7:30 tonight here on WVFN, NFL Monday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. And over on 1240 WJIM, 6:45 pregame, the Detroit Red Wings at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, as they visit the New York Rangers. That's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
You're looking for a little quaint bistro for a getaway at any time after work? Well, the hot one in the area, as usual, in East Lansing, Sidebar. Right next to Abood Law, Abbott and Saginaw. It's wonderful for lunch or dinner or any special occasion where you don't want a jam-packed crowd, but there are televisions there to watch all the big games and a nice, quiet getaway. Try Sidebar. Google Sidebar. Take a look at what all they have for you. A wonderful menu, quaint, cozy atmosphere. Sidebar in East Lansing. The Lansing Sports Commission is your resource for sports tournament and event planning in Michigan's capital region. As a full-service sports commission, they work with you on every aspect of your event, as dedicated to its success as you are. Greater Lansing, so convenient to reach and easy to navigate. The region is full of well-equipped lodging, first-rate athletic venues, entertainment options for the team, and so much more. No matter the size of your event or the sport you're coming to play, you check it all out with the Lansing Sports Commission for your next great event. The Emerald, one of the great public golf courses in all of Michigan, just north of St. John's. You make your plans for 2024 now. You want your outing at the Emerald for 2024. Choose the Emerald for your next special golf event and let their staff show you what a golf outing is about at 224-6287. And the Emerald is a great place to host your social events, from intimate gatherings to parties and receptions. Jay and Katie Eccleton will take good care of whatever you want any time of the year at the Emerald.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
We sit excited on the bus, the sidelines, courtside, in dugouts, waiting for our shot, driven by greatness. For decades, Dean Trailways has delivered athletes safely to their battlegrounds, not as a spectator, but as a teammate. Much more than a job, a true calling with all the purpose and performance that champions possess. Join the Dean team today and experience what it means to be driven by greatness. Go team, go Dean. DeanJobs.com.
If you're thinking about home renovation or adding or changing a deck at your home, you want Custom Built in Okemos. For more than 15 years, Custom Built Design and Remodeling has been the leading full-service design, build, remodeling company in mid-Michigan, and owner Michael Flory has built it from the ground up over the years. If you're curious about what the difference between a general contractor and a design build company is, you got to Google Custom Built in Okemos to see all they can do for you. We swear by Custom Built in Okemos, a great renovation company. Prestige Wine Imports, importers of a distinguished and diverse portfolio of high-quality Italian wines from the Italian Alps to Sicily. Well, they've now made their way to the mid-Michigan area, and the Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines are as popular as ever with mid-Michigan wine enthusiasts. You can find the Sono Rossos and Mezza Coronas at Dusty's Cellar in Okemos on Grand River Avenue. Ask Matt Rhodes about those, and maybe he'll give you a taste test. Or Horrocks on the west side. Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines, you'll love them. Don't forget Smokin' Pig Barbecue across from the Lansing Mall has NFL Sunday Ticket in the bar. Go watch all the NFL games at Smokin' Pig Barbecue all weekend long. Sparty's Coney Island and Friend are open till 2 o'clock each day. Don't forget tomorrow, Tuesday, half-price Coney's on Tuesday. And whenever you're at Sparty's, you be sure and tell Dominic behind the counter that we sent you.
You could say we know a thing or two about sports.
Let's go!
But we've only been doing it for 30 years. We're the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On the go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio, Cullingha Water Hotline 342-63. You more surprised by the latest weekend with the Tigers or the Lions?
I really wasn't surprised by either. I thought the Lions would beat the Cowboys. I didn't know it would be
That's what I thought.
Substantial.
I thought the Lions would win in our little pool here, 47-9. I didn't see that.
And the Tigers, you know what? I had a hunch they were going to get the Scooble, and it was just one pitch. Like he said, you know what? He said it was a great swing, wasn't my best pitch. I mean, he was matter of fact about it. I mean,
my big question here Friday, and I was amazed Brock agreed with me. I said, well, I'll ask you. If you're the Cleveland Guardians players and you have your option, now the break you get, as we already know, but on Friday, for the Saturday for Game 5, I said, would you rather, if you had your choice, would you rather play Game 5 in Cleveland against Scooble or Game 5 in Detroit, no Scooble?
I think you always want to play at home.
At home.
Always want to play at home. But on the flip side, Tim, you could see the bullpen gave up 2 runs on Saturday. That bullpen was running out of gas, and Cleveland was catching up with them. So if they would have been in Detroit and they wouldn't have had to see Scooble, they'd had to see the bullpen, they'd have probably gotten to them.
I mean, my theory is I don't know how Scooble's going to pitch tomorrow from Friday meeting Saturday, but Cleveland's players know what they're in for.
That's right.
And they're at home doing it.
That's right.
I mean, you don't have to get 6 runs on this guy.
Correct.
Okay, because in my opinion, the lack of offense, generally speaking, in Major League Baseball enabled the Tigers to win a lot of games scoring 3 and 4 runs. That's what they score.
That's correct.
But oftentimes it's good enough to win.
Yeah.
You don't have to get 7, 8, 9 runs.
And let's face it, Cleveland's a better team. Okay, they're better than the Tigers.
Well,
right
I think their best player is better than the Tigers' best player. But I would argue the Tigers' best pitcher is better than Cleveland's best pitcher. But their bullpen's pretty good.
Cleveland had the best bullpen in Major League Baseball, and they've got some veterans that the Tigers don't have. The Tigers were playing
more offense
with young pups. Now, those kids are going to get better now. Those kids are going to get better. So next year might be different.
But I thought you're asking a lot out of Skubal to just keep shutting everybody out.
Yeah, you are. And you know what? He made one bad pitch.
Yeah.
And you know what? And the guy hit it out. He might have just popped it up. I mean, he hit it out.
I think the Cleveland players had to know we're at home. I said to him, if Detroit's going to win this thing, more than likely they got to win it in Game 4. They can't let it go back to Cleveland.
Agree.
I mean, they won Game 3, so they're up 2-1. Everybody's delirious. I thought,
after they lost Game 4, we both thought it was 50-50.
I thought it was 50-50.
Yep, I agreed with him.
Because I don't trust Cleveland, because they don't score very much either.
True, that's true.
Yeah, they don't score either.
I mean, let's face it, winning 2 games in Cleveland, that's a tough expectation for that group of young guys. I mean, they had one guy who had any postseason experience. One guy,
Matt Vierling.
Yeah,
he was invisible on Saturday.
Tim, how
he
many
did
of those
nothing.
guys were Brock? How many of those guys were playing AAA ball?
Right.
6 weeks ago.
Oh, AA. In the case of Jackson Job.
Yeah.
Who shouldn't have been in there in Game 4, but
what a great run.
I don't think Cleveland and Detroit, I don't think you can continue moving forward with a staff that's one starter and everybody else will just pitch them every other.
No, but they won't. They won't.
I mean, to me, you got to find 2 more starting pitchers.
They were stuck with that, though. They got all those injuries.
Well, so Cleveland used 8 guys.
And
they tried to lose the game when they put Cade Smith in the 3rd inning.
Yes.
That was idiotic.
I mean, they used 8 guys.
I know.
Matthew kept texting me. He says, this is the most overmanaged game for Cleveland that I could imagine. He said they didn't hit Boyd and they got him out of there. They didn't hit the next guy and they got him out of there. I mean, it's just like you're still getting guys until we can find somebody who can hit.
To me, Boyd should have never. They should have never taken Boyd.
No, leave him in. Nobody's hitting him.
A couple more innings out of him. You know, he was pitching great.
But these analytics maniacs, hurting the game. Making it a lot less watchable.
But Tigers will be different next year. They'll have more starters. They'll get some of these guys back.
A couple more bats, Greg.
They need. The bats need to get better. And I'll tell you what was to me was a very positive note was how Torkelson swung the bat in that last game when he was in there against who's that the really good reliever the closer.
Oh, Clase?
Yeah. Let me tell you what, that at-bat he had against Clase was first class, man. He was on that guy. He fought him. He almost hit the ball out.
Can Cleveland beat New York?
No.
I don't think they can.
No, it's going to Yankees and Dodgers. It's the high price series, man. It's who spends the most.
Did you see any of the Dodgers Mets last night?
You know what? I watched the first part of it. Was 3-0.
After the first 2 hitters, I thought I can't believe the Mets don't have somebody in the bullpen. Yeah. This guy's in way over his head.
Oh my gosh, no question.
He's in way over his head. I mean, he's in way over his head.
He was talking to himself.
I mean, he was in way over his head. But what I said to him, I've never seen in a television telecast desperate to keep viewership that on the screen when the Dodgers are hitting, Ohtani's up in 4 batters, Ohtani's up in 3 batters, Ohtani's up in 2 batters. And frankly, when it got to 1 or 2 and I knew he was going to bat that inning, I stayed with it to watch the guy.
The Mets might win 1 game in New York.
I think that's fair. 4 games to 1.
But the Dodgers are pitching well now, and
they've had a ton of injuries too.
They have, and Flaherty was outstanding last night. Tigers saved his career. The Tigers saved his career. That guy was on the rocks, and the Tigers brought him in and coached him up and got his confidence up and got something for him. Got a starting shortstop who was a throw-in on that deal because the guy they really wanted is in AA, an outfielder who's really a good player. So. That was
and they got a catcher too, Lorenzo, who they really like too.
Correct.
And he was at West Michigan. He tore it up down there.
So you know what?
Well, if it's the Dodgers Yankees, at least to me, you've got the 2 stars.
You do. You got Ohtani. You got Judge. The whole.
In a sport to me that is just barren of stars that the public relates to. That doesn't mean there aren't good players. You just don't know who they are as much. But you know who the 2 stars are for each of those teams.
TV numbers will be great.
As good as they can become with whoever you can match up,
Right.
to me, would be the Yankees and the Dodgers.
No question.
But when I'm watching that Mets guy last night, the first thing I said, this guy's in. I said, I couldn't believe the Mets dugout doesn't have some guy going right now.
Yeah.
He's in, because when you start throwing balls right out of the chute, sooner or later you get to hitters 3 and 4 with guys on. I mean, the balls, and Ohtani hit 2 rockets.
Oh, I saw those. I saw those in the highlights.
I mean, he hit 2 rockets.
When I was pitching to Ohtani, I think I just roll it up to him and say, "Go to first base." I mean, that guy's amazing.
So on ESPN screen this morning, they say, which is it more from yesterday? Is it more the Lions or more the Cowboys?
Well, the whole morning's been about they lead with the Cowboys.
That's a Cowboys channel.
I got so ticked off. I'm watching it this morning. They're talking about Mike Greenberg. You know what? I used to like Mike Greenberg, but he's nauseating now. Because all he talks, first of all, he talks about the Jets all the time. The Jets are awful. Nobody cares. All right, Mike, nobody cares.
Well, nobody cares that he cares.
Yeah, exactly. He thinks he's cute about it. That's one. And they talk about the Cowboys, and it's like he didn't even know who they played.
Well, not only that, when's the last time the Cowboys were even relevant? I mean, they haven't been relevant for years.
Don't tell them that. I mean, and then now they overpaid Dak, who's an above-average quarterback, and Dak Prescott. They had to give him $60 million, or else he'd have been whining all season long.
You know, I could see
insane.
Brock, I could see him paying Dak because,
but he's not that good.
Well, but he's better than average. And
I agree. No, I agree with that. Totally agree with that.
That's what the going rate is. I don't know why they paid that wide receiver all that money. They got all that money now tied into these 2 guys,
and now they're going to have to pay Micah Parsons.
Have no depth, and that's what I'm sure the Lions are thinking about replacing Hutchinson, trying to get somebody to replace him. You don't want to give away the farm. You don't want to, because they've built this team from within.
Largely. Yep.
And so to get a guy like Max Crosby, they're going to have to give up the house to get a Max Crosby.
It'd be draft picks.
Big time.
And maybe 1 or 2 players on the roster. I don't think they want to do that.
No,
we'll
I don't
see.
think so either.
But they got to do something. This is a Super Bowl or pretty close to a Super Bowl roster.
It is.
Pretty close.
It is, but it will be next year too, because they've got all these guys. They got they got to weigh what they do. They'll do something.
And they're in a tough division too.
Tough division.
Oh my goodness!
They're at Minnesota Sunday.
Minnesota on Sunday. But let me tell you what, the Lions' offense is good.
Yes, they are.
They are good. That offensive line is really
despite
good.
Injuries, they're playing terrific.
Yeah.
But the irony to me with their offense, and I go back to the Arizona game, I thought in the Arizona game at halftime they'd scored 50 and they'd scored 20. They went down the field every single.
Yeah.
So then I had something came up. So I don't see the second half. I said, you got to be kidding me. The Lions did not score in the second half at Arizona and still won the game.
Right.
But when they're on, when they're on,
I'm going to go back, Tim. I don't think by not playing the starters, and we talked about this, by not playing the starters in the exhibition games, the first 2 or 3 games of the season are like exhibition games. I mean, you're kind of. Look at the Ravens. The Ravens lost their first 2 games.
They lost at home to the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders who are terrible.
Look bad doing it.
Yes.
Now they're talking about them being the best team in football. So
well, when you got Lamar Jackson.
That guy's awesome. I think the Lions are still going to have some tough games ahead.
They got a lot of tough games.
Because you got 6 division games.
And they're all going to be tough.
The Bears aren't exactly going. He was 23 of 29 for 4 touchdowns and 320. Now, like Brock says, it's against the Jaguars,
who are awful.
But the guy's a rookie.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
and since from game 1 to where they are now, Chicago wants to think this year for them is like the Lions last year.
Yeah.
They think that they're, and I think they are. I think they're tough to play. And Green Bay, you've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
To me, for all 4 of those teams, who keeps the quarterback healthy?
Oh, there's no question.
For those 4, who keeps the quarterback healthy?
And who'd have thunk Sam Darnold would be as good as he's been?
Yeah. Don't forget, too, guys, the Lions, because they won the division last year. They got a tough schedule.
First place
Very
schedule.
tough.
Tougher schedule than the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bears.
I mean, I took that into consideration. I said, it's going to be and not only that, they're not going to sneak up on anybody either.
No.
But the Dallas, what's his name, the quarterback, after they held the Pittsburgh to 17 on the road, he says, okay, so now we got to go home. We'll take care of business against the Lions and get our bye week and figure out what else we need to fix. Well, they got a lot to fix.
And they got injuries on defense. You saw that affected it.
Oh, yeah.
And they made stuff. They forced 3 field goals. And they intercepted a ball in the end zone.
But the stadium's nice. The stadium there's
Very nice.
That stadium.
Like Jared Goff chance in AT&T Stadium.
Jerry Jones, I give you credit. You got a stadium. Here are the news headlines. Hour number 3 in a moment. This is the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
The Humana Honor Medicare Advantage Plan gives you $1,680 back each year in your Social Security check. Choose coverage that helps you keep more money in your pocket. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. The Part B Give Back benefit pays part or all of your Part B premium, and the amount may change based on the amount you pay for Part B. Limitations and restrictions may apply. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
It's the most
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.
We're the station you've turned to for sports for over 30 years, and the only one still standing. We're Lansing's sports leader, the Game 730 AM. Welcome to the third and final hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on the Game 730 AM.
Hour number 3 this morning is brought to you by Capital Region International Airport. Breeze has got nonstop flights from Lansing to Orlando and Fort Myers, and you'll get from Apple Vacations in January 3 new nonstops to the Caribbean. Google all of that from Capital Region International Airport whenever you can do it. It's such a convenience and less money in many cases to fly Lansing first. I have emails here for you. He says, you're surprised you have not mentioned the Superior Dome Showdown with 11,000. Tom's number 10 retired in the exhibition game, an amazing experience, and the UP has a lot of trees. I didn't see. I saw the clips and all that. There's only so much of this stuff, that we were in transit yesterday, so they didn't see that. But to answer it, it was great. Good for him. The coronation up there.
I read about it. I didn't have a chance to see it. I was watching my grandsons play football yesterday.
All right, we have a couple of Pure Green Smith Tree breaking sports moments. The University of Michigan has just announced that Santa Ono's contract as president has been extended 5 years with a more than $250,000 pay increase. The university's Board of Regents approved the contract extension after a performance review earlier this month, and that has been announced this morning by the University of Michigan. Further, the Detroit Lions announced this morning that Aiden Hutchinson underwent successful surgery for 2 broken bones, fibula, tibia, whatever it is.
Both bones in the lower leg, the tibia and the fibula.
It was at Baylor University's Medical Center. He's expected to return to Detroit this week. There is no timeline for his return, but not this season. So I guess there's no surprise with that either.
And the Tigers are by the way, are having their postseason press conference right now. Scott Harris says if they identify players who they feel fit in the clubhouse and the team style of play, he'll either pursue them either with money, with prospects, or both. That's a first, since he's considered using prospects in trade packages. So there you go with that.
All right. Email to Greg.
And he also expects Javier Baez to be in spring training and have a role on the team next year. We'll see.
That doesn't surprise me that they would consider that because of all the money they still owe the guy.
Yeah, and he's a right-handed bat, and the other kid's left-handed. And
a very good defensive player.
Very good, yes.
And I think the players like him, too.
Yeah.
Players seem to like Baez. Yeah.
They like him.
We'll see how good Baez is defensively next year after hip surgery.
Correct.
Greg, with a new 12-team college football playoff format, is the selection committee using the eye test to determine teams 5 to 11? Are they using the eye test to find their best non-power 4 team for the 12th team? I don't know how that works. Brock, how's that work? If Army, I don't think Army and Navy can finish undefeated, but what if one of them does?
Well, they always use, the eye test does have some play in their evaluation, okay? I mean, they have metrics, and they use the eye test to answer the question.
He says here, does Greg think that Army and or Navy can keep the dream alive by beating Notre Dame?
Oh, my goodness. If Navy beat
Well, they
Notre
play, Navy plays, Patrick and Tom are going to it's in the Meadowlands at New Jersey. It's where the Giants play.
MetLife.
They're playing that in a few weeks. Navy plays Notre Dame at the Meadowlands. Navy will give them all they want. I don't know if they can beat them.
Yeah.
But if they do, well, first of all, imagine what Army and Navy have done so far. Even the teams they're playing, they don't have the same recruiting prowess. I heard the Army coach on the radio the other day. He was talking about how they recruit. Like he says, it's a lot simpler for us. Says we don't have to scout. We don't have to get into a bidding war.
No.
We don't have the transfer portal issue.
No.
He said we don't have any of that. But what he did say was he changed his philosophy to realize that if we're going to get beyond where we've been, we're going to have to open up and throw the ball a bit, which they do. Navy does it a lot more.
Yeah.
Navy throws it.
Yeah.
Army, for him, he actually, and the kid throws a spiral, too. The Army quarterback can throw a spiral.
I think he's throwing it end over end.
Well, as I remember, how many years did you see the Army-Navy game where there's 9,000 plays between the tackles, but somebody's 10 points down with 4 minutes to go, now you got to throw it. And it doesn't look like
Not
you've been
pretty.
doing it. And it isn't pretty. I mean, I thought,
agree.
man, Perry
I
High School
agree.
could look better throwing it than what you. So he said, we've changed that. And when they're on, because CBS Sports Network, 255, if you got Xfinity, they do the Army games.
Yeah, right.
So I'm watching them. I'm rooting for them. And they're pretty good. I mean, the guys they don't do anything stupid. They don't make any stupid mistakes. They're not running their mouth, and they're playing like crazy.
And Army's playing in a half a stadium.
And they're
this year.
playing in half a stadium.
Oh, yeah, because Mikey Stadium's getting,
Yeah,
we've talked about that. They're under construction.
Yeah. Now, Tim, excuse me. My brother lives, in Stamford, Connecticut. So they've been over to Army for a football game. He said it's a fabulous experience to watch a football game in Mikey Stadium.
Oh yeah,
at West Point. He said it's a great experience.
Have you ever been to West Point?
I have not.
So we 3 years ago. What you can do at the same time is you can cross the Hudson and go see FDR's house and museum and his burial ground. It's good. It's very good. If you like that, I mean, it's right across the river. You got to go up 15 miles or so to see where FDR lived. And West Point's a little different than the other academies because when you get on the grounds, you take a school bus and they drive you through all the grounds, and then they'll let you out. And they've got a gift shop, Beat Navy, they have all that. But when you look at it's not nearly as new like Air Force is. But what it has is a spectacular view of the Hudson, like the Naval Academy has of the Chesapeake Bay in Annapolis.
Yep.
And the town is West Point is nothing. The town's nothing. I mean, when you get to the academy, but then when you get on the grounds there, you see all of those old military buildings, and you say to yourself, "This is where Douglas MacArthur went to school." And I mean, you're looking at the military greats that have been here.
I've been to Annapolis, and I was recruited to play basketball at Air Force. I took a recruiting visit to Air Force when I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful. Just gorgeous. How about this? Side note. We pull in, Coach picks me up at the airport there in Colorado Springs, and we're driving in. You go past the stadium, and on the other side of the stadium, there's this big parking lot, Tim, and there's about 300 brand new Corvettes sitting in that lot. And I looked up and I said, "Oh my goodness!" I mean, it looked like they'd come off the line. I said, "What's that?" He said, "Coach, what's that?" He said, "Oh," he said, "Well, you get paid here at the academy, but you can't have access to the money until after year 3." He said, "So what the classes do is they decide what kind of car they want to buy as a class." So this year's class wanted Corvettes. So then they all go to General Motors and they order these Corvettes in mass, and they get delivered. He said these just got delivered the last couple weeks. So yeah, that's how the cadets spend their money.
I mean, the public can go and visit the campus there with little interference.
Yes.
You can, and the chapel, it's not a chapel, it's the cathedral
Gorgeous.
there is gorgeous, the way it's designed and that. What I liked about the football stadium's a major size stadium.
Very nice. Yes.
But what we like too is just on the other side of the stadium on the freeway there is the airport, the Air Force Academy, the runways there, and they have you can drive off and just park and stand out, watch these planes coming in and out, the military aircraft that come in and out because they're doing training sessions there and that. It's pretty good. It's obviously a different. Now they have the mountains there that Navy and Army don't have.
And this was 50 years ago. So it had just only been there for about 20 years.
It's the
15,
newest of the
years.
three.
Correct.
And Colorado Springs itself is gorgeous.
Very nice.
All the Olympic training is there and all those facilities and that. The other thing,
that's right. Yeah,
and the other thing, two of the best golf courses I ever played are there at the Broadmoor.
It's hosted major championships before
the Broadmoor is there too. So that's there too. So I've got 4 or 5 more minutes before the last break. So what are you looking forward to? Is there anything the baseball is the Yankees and Cleveland play tonight.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers play the Mets. I tell the Mets you better win.
That's a day game out there at Chavez Ravine.
That's this afternoon.
108 local time out there.
Today.
4 o'clock. Yes. At Chavez Ravine.
Okay.
That stadium still looks brand new.
Beautiful.
They put that drone shot now that you didn't used to get before, and they go up above that thing. That thing, it was that was built right after
early
the
60s.
in the early
1961
60s.
or two.
So that thing is more than 50 years old. Look at it.
It's
60.
gorgeous. So yeah.
They say the place is immaculate. That they do an incredible job of keeping that.
They do. It's
stadium.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Would love to go out there.
Yeah, and the Yankees. Does that start tonight? Cleveland and
that's 7:30.
That starts tonight.
Starts tonight in New York.
I like the Yankees.
I
don't like the Yankees. I'm picking the Yankees.
I think they've got more starting pitching.
Their pitching seems to have gotten stronger.
Like you said, when you get to this time of the year, the cream kind of rises to the top a little bit. Now they know this is what we're playing for. And so
that's a hard place to play. Boy, Yankee Stadium. Boy, those New Yorkers get into it. They get into it.
So on the Michigan State end, that I also see when I got back this morning is that my understanding the governor has sent the report on the recommendation on 2 trustees to the Attorney General for her review relative to the future of those 2 trustees. And then there are those who believe that this was not going to get resolved prior to the election because that would have opened up more new trustees. If this comes down after the election, then you're going to have 2 new from the election, and whether or not there are 2 after the election with appointments or not remains to be seen. Is that your understanding?
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
I wondered if it was just going to. I'm kind of surprised that it's kind of come back to the surface. I thought it was just going to get buried the way it had been handled. So. Never a dull moment.
The Attorney General in the state of Michigan, to me, doesn't let a lot of grass grow under her feet.
No, she doesn't.
I mean, one way or the other, she gets into this.
She moves it through.
She moves things through quickly, one way or the other. Then what you saw that Brenda Tracy was in town last week, and Ann Emmerich, did a 90.
Really?
She did a 60-minute sit down with her, with some people in the audience with her, and that I heard excerpts from the thing. All I came away thinking was the attorneys are going to be around this thing forever.
Yeah,
just including him with Michigan State. What I was interested in is, does anybody know where Tucker is? Have they seen him? Do they know where he is? Is he got something going professionally, football, whatever? And I mean, you talk about dropping off the face of the earth after September 10th a year ago with that. I still remember him running on the tunnel after the Richmond win to go to 2-0, and that was it.
Yeah.
Never heard or saw from him again.
Yeah. It's an interesting story, Tim. And you're right, the whole thing isn't going to die down for a while.
No.
There's too much now. There's still too much to be determined, and there's too much money on the table for both sides now. I mean, there's for all 3 sides, for her, for him, and for the university. I mean, they're all fighting for dollars.
I mean, what the next thing's going to be, all of that, simply remains to be seen.
We should mention that there was a good hockey series at Michigan
Very
State
good.
this weekend.
I saw Friday on TV up north.
Yeah.
I thought, man, Boston College, can they beat the Red Wings? Man, did they look good.
Didn't they?
Jeez,
but, credit to Spartans. They came back Saturday and There's two good teams.
I think you'll take a split at this stage of the season,
darn
even though
right,
it's at
Brock.
home. Even though it's at home,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Against a team like that, absolutely.
You know what? Confidence for both teams.
No question.
I couldn't believe how physically big those players for Boston College were. But now I didn't see Saturday night, okay? I did not see Saturday night. Boys, I have the is it the AP? Yeah, I have the AP preseason college basketball poll just came in. Kansas 1, Alabama is 2, UConn's 3, Houston 4, Iowa State 5, Gonzaga 6, Duke 7, Baylor 8, North Carolina 9, Arizona 10, Auburn 11, Tennessee 12, A&M 13, Purdue is 14, Creighton 15, Arkansas 16, Indiana 17, Marquette 18, Texas 19, Cincinnati 20, Florida 21. I'm looking for Michigan State, UCLA 22, Kentucky 23, Ole Miss 24, and Rutgers 25. Michigan State is not in the AP preseason college basketball poll.
Chris Solari has some notes from the Jonathan Smith press conference. Smith says that tight end Michael Masunis is out for the year and hoping Alante Brown can come back by the end of the season, but he's still not quite there yet. I'm looking for more stuff here from Jonathan Smith here.
Well, I don't know. We haven't seen him we will not have seen him for 2 weeks. So what will be different, if anything, off of the Oregon game?
Right.
What will, if anything, will be different? I mean, look, offensively, Iowa's not going to be Oregon, but defensively, they might be even better.
Yeah, they're good defensively. They're good.
So we've got that. So when you're in here next week, see, that'll be after that. It'll be Michigan week.
Michigan week. Oh, my favorite week of the year.
It'll be Michigan week, but at least you don't have to worry about it as a home game.
I didn't like it when it was a road game.
When it was a road. Did you go down there every year?
Oh yeah, I was down there.
And how did you go Saturday morning? Did you go the night before?
I did it both ways. I went with a team some years, and some years I
Where did the team
down.
stay down there?
They stay out at the Marriott over at Eastern Michigan. Right off where their golf course is.
Yeah.
Just south of I-94. You go down to Huron Street and you get off there. In Ypsilanti, it's just south of I-94.
I still have great. Thank heaven, Channel 10 years and years ago moved out of Jackson, and that old studio was right down there on 127 on the north end.
Yeah.
When Michigan played at Michigan State, Bo would stay at the Holiday Inn next door. And I always knew when he was coming because it's right next door. There was a Bill Knapp's restaurant there.
Right, sure.
So we just take the camera, walk right out the door. Here comes the Michigan bus with all, and he had the whole thing rented out. He didn't want his players in East Lansing the night before for whatever reason. He couldn't have been nicer. We always interviewed him just getting off the bus on Friday night with our nice little exclusive pregame Bo Schembechler interview. Yeah, we're looking to the game tomorrow. That's where they stayed. And we were, I don't know how many years we were there, way too long, 6, 8 years. So there were at least 3 or 4 years on the alternate years. Michigan always stayed halfway at the Holiday Inn on the north. Now now it's gone. That hotel's long
Michigan
gone.
They stay in Lansing
Now
now.
they come up here. All right. We thank Greg for coming in on Mondays the way he usually does. We'll go to break. Culligan Water Hotline's 342-63. It's the Sparrow Stout on Sports. New incentives for you from Dominic at Sparty's Coney Island in Frandor. Open till 2 o'clock each day. 20% Burger Thursdays. You know how great the Coneys are, especially with half prices on Tuesdays. But now Thursdays, 20% on burgers. And man, is Dominic excited about that. Dine in, carry out, every day. Breakfast is spectacular as well. Always incentives at Sparty's Coney Island in the Frandor Shopping Center. And again, whether it's 20% Burger Thursdays or half-price Coney Tuesdays, be sure to tell Dominic we sent you. Bull Janitorial, the name to trust in the commercial cleaning industry around mid-Michigan. They offer a wide range of janitorial, custodial, and maintenance services. In addition to professional cleaning services, they also supply materials and equipment such as restroom supplies and more. There is not another commercial cleaning company you'll find that does it all for you like Bull Bull Janitorial. They're open 24/7 when you need help. Call them 694-6642. Great employment opportunities at Bull Janitorial as well. Of all the recommendations that I've ever given you on this program through the years, no one goes higher than the Munn team for real estate advice. John and Jan Munn work as hard as anyone in the business, trust me, and they truly are realtors who get results. John's cell phone, 881-6623. Jan's at 282-6781. And when they put the 1-2 whammy on a sale or to get you the best deal possible, you have the best people working for you. The Munn team, realtors who truly get results for anything real estate. A high five to Dewey Bramson's 3 great area restaurants of different offerings. Beggar's Banquet, Abbott Road, East Lansing, off the main strip. A superstar in the area since 1973. Great happy hours from 4 to 6 Monday through Friday with a wonderful wine and beer list, great for private parties. The Nut House, downtown Lansing, across from the ballpark. Michigan Avenue. Any great gathering is there for you before or after big events. And the Harrison Roadhouse, Michigan and Harrison in East Lansing, a bustling bar and grill with hearty pub grub and a whole lot more. Those are the great 3 from Dewey Bramson.
This is the Lansing Sports Network Minute from the Lansing Sports Network News Desk.
I'm Steve Goff. The big news comes from the Big D, Dallas, Texas, as the Lions rolled up, won big, and shocked the Cowboys Sunday afternoon.
Jared takes, tosses to Montgomery, flips it back to Amon-Ra. He gives it to Goff, who's going to throw downfield. He's got Laporta, makes the grab. 20, 15, 10-5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
That's Dan Miller on the call. Now, later on in the game, after a sack by NFL sacks leader Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions got some bad news. Hutchinson was carted off the field with a broken tibia from a gruesome injury. Hutchinson has already had surgery and will remain in Dallas for the time being. We'll keep you updated, and we wish him a speedy and healthy recovery. From the studios of the Lansing Sports Network, I'm Steve Goff.
Find more and stay up to date at LansingSportsNetwork.com or in the Lansing Sports Network app.
One of the most popular restaurants in our area for years continues that way. Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road in East Lansing. As the saying goes, eat at Woody's, live longer with a Mediterranean cuisine. And now the menu has some wonderful new items they're all excited about. Chicken kafta, along with their Woody's burgers, gyros, fries, and a whole lot more. For all the information, the website, Woody'sOasis.com, or call 351-2280. Woody's. Eat at Woody's, Trowbridge Road, East Lansing, and live longer. Such exciting times at iDevelopment. 65 years young in the community, the East Side growing like crazy. Matt, tell us all about it.
Tim, the east side of campus is growing. Hannah Plaza, we have new users like Chatura Grill, Spartan Edge Barber Shop, the Gaming Cantina, and iHeart Mac and Cheese. Over by Trader Joe's, Crunch Fitness is adding 11,000 square feet of space, and we're very excited about what's going on there.
More great news as usual from iDevelopment.
At Shaheen Cadillac of Lansing, you drive the future with luxury at your fingertips. Experience our lineup of eye-catching sedans and SUVs. Cadillac is the next generation of high-end technology where remarkable comfort and attention to detail change the way you drive. Meet with one of our product specialists today or begin your experience online at ShaheenCadillac.com.
Get this 2023 Cadillac XT5 for just $635 a month.
Relax and enjoy the Shaheen difference.
Shop low prices and great deals all week long at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more on hundreds of items across the store, like General Mills cereal, Swanson broth, and 12 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. Plus, shop our huge selection of Halloween items for spooky good savings. Get 25% off Halloween costumes and buy 2, get 1 free Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Dusty's Grand River Avenue in Okemos. Okay, the best in casual fine dining. Check out the wine specials they have in their deli now in the wine shop at Dusty's this month, okay? Or for reservations, call 349-5150, and the tap room is available for casual dining next door. Spagnolo's just up the street, right? Grand River Avenue, 3 miles east of the Meridian Mall. Marvelous Italian cuisine every day but Sunday, okay? And don't forget also Woody's Oasis, all right? Woody's on Trowbridge Road, East Lansing, best in Mediterranean cuisine. Like Chuck Rod says, you eat at Woody's, live longer.
The game Game 730 AM studio is powered by Driven Collision. We make friends by accident.
On the go from the Driven Collision studios here at WVFN Radio. Time now for our Innovair High School Highlight. Innovair, an award-winning store at 905 Southland Avenue in Lansing. Jim Baker's company is your office furniture dealer, working to creatively build functional and inspiring interior designs for your office, campus, or facility. Did you know that at one time, Lansing had two parochial high schools who were football rivals at the end of the season for 20 years, from 1950 through 1969? Gabriel's and O'Rafferty. The current Lansing Catholic High School used to be Gabriel's High School. That's what it was when it was built.
I found that out when Mad Dog told me, because I didn't know. I'm like, well, now, and there were a bunch of Catholic schools in the area, but when they all merged together, it became Lansing Catholic Central. How did that all work? And he told me.
Well, O'Rafferty was built in time so that they could play against each other 1950 through 69. And, of course, the diocese found out we don't need two high schools. There was cost involved. But Gabriel's versus O'Rafferty was a Sunday regular. This was before high school football state tournaments. So the last Sunday of the season, on a Sunday afternoon, after the players went to Mass, Gabriel's versus O'Rafferty. They played each other 19 times during the 20 years. Gabriel's won 14, lost 3, and there were 2 games that ended in ties, because in those days, tie games ended up as tie games. And then, when they consolidated, the building became Lansing Catholic Central, which since has changed its name from Lansing Catholic Central to Lansing Catholic. So it is now Lansing Catholic High School. But for a time, a 20-year period, 1950 through 69, 2 parochial schools, rivals against each other, and Gabriel's only had something, Brock, like 1 losing season in football. They had a number of terrific teams. Especially in the 1960s, Gabriel's dominated football in the area of the 2 parochial schools over O'Rafferty. Innovair is a nationwide company, okay? And it's here for you in Lansing, a proud Technion furniture dealer. Jim Baker has put this company together, and it's great. Innovair is the industry's fastest-growing company, your source for design and space planning, installation, and decommission. Let its team visit your space to offer expert insights. Your office furniture dealer. Stop or call today, 253-8718, or stop by the studios for Innovair at 905 Southland Avenue in Lansing. Innovair, saluting today that great 20-year parochial high school football rivalry, O'Rafferty versus Gabriel's, from 1950 through 1969. You were too little for all that, right? You don't remember
Wasn't even
that.
born yet, but I'm aware of it. I mean, O'Rafferty, that school is still over there on the west side, over there in Delta Township.
It is, and what the police took that, whether that still has police affiliation or not.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure of that. We move from the Innovair High School Highlight to our daily Gillespie Group Sparrow Stout on Sports High School Salute. The Gillespie Group says, hey, we have our Join Our Team campaign underway. We've got career options. Check all of them online, gillespie-group.com/careers, or call the Gillespies at 679-7364 for a tour of any Gillespie property. Well, we are going to honor this morning not 1, but 2 terrific athletes on this last Saturday, okay, in Grand Ledge. The Greater Lansing High School Cross Country Championships, and underclassmen individually won for in those races, okay? On the boys' side, Ian Morgan from Okemos High School is the individual champion. He won on the boys' side. He's a junior, okay, at Okemos. Ian Morgan, he'll be someone to deal with in the state championships, and he helped Okemos win the team title by 26 points in the Greater Lansing Cross Country Championships, okay? And he won the boys' race. St. John sophomore Ava Schaefer was the winner for a second straight season on the girls' side. She finished 8 seconds ahead of Okemos freshman Rachel Smith. The underclassmen, as usual this fall in the area, on the boys and girls sides have dominated cross country. From a view of the Lugnut Stadium to the downtown Lansing skyline, the Gillespie Group provides experience-based living options surrounded by entertainment, shopping, and the Lansing River Trail. For any Gillespie property, a tour, call 679-7364. The Gillespies this morning saluting the 2 individual Greater Lansing High School cross-country champions from Saturday's big meet. Ava Schaefer, the sophomore from St. John's, she won on the girls' side, and junior Ian Morgan of Okemos, he won on the boys' side. Still coming up, of course, we will have all of the state championships in cross-country right around the corner. I have the new college hockey ratings out. They have not really changed it any after Michigan State split with Boston College. The national rankings this morning, Denver 1, Boston College 2, Boston U 3, and Michigan State is number 4. Michigan is now number 11 in the top 20 right there. Colliga Water Hotline in East Lansing. Mark is with us on the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Morning, Mark.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for taking my call. As a little side note, I was just wondering what the rivalry looked like between Gabriels and O'Rafferty in terms of basketball. That's the first question. And then second, because I remember a great O'Rafferty basketball team from maybe 67 that went to the semifinals. I think they lost to Menominee, who had Pat Miller, who went on to play at Michigan State. But if you know anything about how the rivalry in basketball turned out, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, Tim.
The football information I got did not come from memory. That got looked up, and it's easier, frankly, on our side to find the football information than basketball. Although I do remember that, yes, there were, obviously, basketball was a big deal and has been a big deal at Lansing Catholic for a number of years, both boys and girls. And brought back in 50 to 69, there were no girls' sports. But I remember it was a huge deal at the end of every fall because it was the last game played in the area without a state tournament, and they played on Sunday afternoon. I'm trying to remember. I want to say Everett, but I can't. I don't want to say that was there every year. It was 20 years that they had their run, but they only played 19 times. One year, for whatever reason, there was not a game. So to your question, Mark, if I can find something out between Gabriels and O'Rafferty relative to basketball or any other sport, we'll pass it on. Tim, hello. Glad to see Okemos varsity football last Friday beat Coldwater High School, getting their second win of the 2024 season. So that's pretty good, don't you think?
That's a successful season for Okemos considering where they have been.
So they beat Coldwater 21-14. What? They stopped them on the goal line at the end of the game to preserve it. Is that what it is?
That's my understanding.
Yeah. And they lost in the final moments the previous week. To Waverly 25-18. So they came close to 3 wins. Now they got to go to DeWitt Friday. So draw your own conclusions.
Exactly.
They go to DeWitt, and then I think they've got Grand Ledge. Is it Grand Ledge or Everett to end it? No, it's Grand Ledge.
They host Grand Ledge to end it.
They host Grand Ledge to end it. So let's see. I'm looking here to see, like you say, the Tigers are having their wrap-up news conference today with Scott Harris and A.J. Hinch. Scott Harris, hang on just a minute. I've got some of the majority of our growth has to come from within. Too many young players on this roster must improve in the offseason. Where I think he gets that is because they got to get more offense. Well, they got to get more of everything. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, they need a couple more starting pitchers, and some of that is health-related. Reese Olson, Casey Mize, Sawyer Gibson Long, who missed the entire year. Just for example, can Kenta Maeda come back and do anything in spring training to warrant him putting him back in the rotation? Because he signed next year for $10 million.
Scott Harris, the president of the Tigers, is quoted as saying, "We cannot ignore the growth that needs to come from within. That's not to say there won't be external additions. I don't know exactly what position they are going to come yet because it has been 48 hours since we played, but I do have some thoughts on it." So that's from Scott Harris, who's the president of the Detroit Tigers. I don't have anything from Hinch. Per se. I mean, I would say the driven collision story of the day is the short statement that the Detroit Lions offered an hour ago. The statement from the Lions: Aiden Hutchinson underwent successful surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula at Baylor White Medical Center in Irving, Texas last night. Hutchinson will return to Detroit this week and is expected to make a full recovery. There is no timeline for his return to play at this time. That's exactly what they put out. So there you go. Then, Tim, the current projections, if the MHSAA football playoffs were to start this week, and he gives me some of the Lansing teams, he says the eye-opener, Williamston needs to win one of its last 2 games. Not easy to get in at 3-6.
Yeah, they're 32nd right now in Division 5. I got them right here, Tim. Yeah, Williamston right now would get in at 2-5 with their win last Friday. Let's see here. Holt would get in right now at 4-3. Grand Ledge would get in at 4-3 in Division One and could eventually play each other right now. Ionia would get in. Hazlitt's played their way back into it. Let's see. Saranac and Bath would both get in as well. And Portland St. Pat's and Morris would get in 8-player football.
This email,
if the season ended today. Obviously, it doesn't.
Tim, who do you like in the Lions game versus the Vikings? I'll take Detroit.
Wow.
I think Minnesota's due to lose.
Okay.
And I think Hutchinson's a loss, but to me, he's not a loss like Goff.
I know you say that all the time.
I just think, is Hutchinson a loss? Yes.
Major loss.
He's a loss. Now, I think, what do they got? 12 games to go. Who else is going to be a loss?
Right.
All right? Anywhere. Not just for Detroit. Anywhere.
Sure.
Who else is going to be a loss? But close game. I mean, if Minnesota wins, that would put the Lions 2 games behind them in the division with 11 to go.
And Minnesota would have the tiebreaker, at least for the time being.
So stay tuned. But I got to see the Lions lose again before I think they're going to lose again. But again,
as good as they've looked.
I almost
yesterday.
At the end of these games don't look at the score or the spread. I look at to see did anybody get hurt, including the team they're going to play next, because is that going to impact the game? How do the Dallas Cowboys function? They either get blown up, and then they go to Pittsburgh between 2 blowout losses here, the Detroit and the one before, where they gave up 40.
Yeah.
They're 0-3 at home for the first time since 2010. Trying to figure them out is hard to do. I picked the Lions in a close game. There was a 3.5
even though
point
it's
spread.
on the road.
I was listening to this Dak Prescott during the week. He said, well, we're going to get this good win, and then we'll have a week off to try to fix everything else that we need to fix. Well, sounds to me like the week off, you got a lot more to fix. One final timeout. You can still join us on the Cullington Water hotline at 300-4263. Our email address, tim.stout@wylx.com. It's the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Coming up, we've got ESPN Radio at 1. Then at 3, it's full 3 hours of The Huge Show. At 7:30 tonight, it is NFL Monday Night Football. It's the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. Over on 1240 WJIM, 6:45 tonight, it's Red Wings hockey at the New York Rangers. That's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
The prestigious Abood Law Firm has offices in East Lansing and Birmingham and has been around since 1956. 332-5900, Abbott and Saginaw and East Lansing. Abood Law understands it's essential to get an attorney involved in your legal issues as early as possible. If you're dealing with legal problems, contact Andrew Abood and his great staff at Abood Law in East Lansing immediately, and you'll get the help that you need and can depend on. Abood Law, we heartily endorse Andrew Abood Law, 332-5900.
Dreaming of a fun and affordable getaway? Breeze Airways can take you there. With Breeze Airways, you can fly direct from Lansing's Capital Region International Airport to Fort Myers and Orlando for just $79. What are you waiting for? Go to www.flybreeze.com or download the Breeze app to book your trip. Breeze Airways offers flexible and friendly policies, so you can always travel with peace of mind. Come and see why we were just awarded the 2024 Apex Award for Best Seat Comfort in North America. With Breeze, traveling from Lansing to fun, sunny Florida destinations has never been easier. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
$79 no flex fare promotion is available only when booking a new reservation for LAN, RSW, RSW, LAN, LAN, MCO, and MCO, LAN. Promotion must be purchased by October 31, 2024, 11:59 p.m. ET for travel from September 24, 2024 through February 2, 2025. Price displayed includes taxes and government fees. Fare prices, fare classes, rules, routes, and schedules are subject to change or exemption without notice. Any changes or modifications to qualifying promotional reservations will be subject to fare repricing. A difference in airfare at the current fare price may apply. Other restrictions and blackout dates may apply.
You're not sure your knees can handle 18 holes, but I am.
You can't imagine a morning without pain, but I can.
You've never heard anybody make that sound, but I have.
I'm Dr. Michael Shingles.
Dr. Arjuna Cuddyback.
Dr. Andrew Scorfar.
We've seen it all.
And now you can see us here at University of Michigan Health Sparrow.
Mid-Michigan's nationally recognized orthopedics and sports medicine center.
Learn more and find a highly skilled specialist at ufmhealthsparrow.org/orthopedics.
Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice.
Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
Details. You never know what time of year you're going to need the talented people and services of Doty Mechanical, 615 South Waverly in Lansing, one of the terrific service companies in our area through the years. Heating issues, cooling issues. You need a generator. You need plumbing help. All of that and more from the great technicians at Doty Mechanical. They carry the Carrier products. They're the exclusive distributor in the area. 327-7777, 327-7777. When you need that kind of help, call Doty Mechanical. Candy Ford in Charlotte, the home of the greatest deals on wheels. They've had that slogan for years and years, and it just keeps getting better every single day. John Dykstra says it's worth the drive, okay? Down I-69 from the Lansing area to Charlotte to see the deals they have for you. They'll get you the best deal you can possibly find on a Ford vehicle, new or used. And if trucks are your thing, okay, Candy Ford is home of the greatest Ford trucks that there are available. You're always ahead whenever you choose Candy Ford. Worth the drive to Charlotte for sure. It's amazing to me the fabulous quality of Wash World in cleaning your vehicle. 2 locations in our area, Okemos and Jolly Road, and on the west side, I-96 at the MLK exit. State-of-the-art, full service, free vacuum. Who offers that? $2 off on Wednesday, gift cards available, and you can get monthly and yearly wash subscriptions. You're in and out right away. Your vehicle looks great any time of the year. Make your car or truck look great at Wash World. The best in quality, the fastest service, believe me, in Okemos and Westside Lansing. As we like to remind you, Pure Green Smith Tree to the rescue for any outdoor landscaping issues that give you a problem at any time of the year. We're in the fall season now, and it's time to aerate the lawns everywhere. Call 703-1111 to get on the schedule because the Pure Green technicians are busy with thousands of customers. And if your trees and shrubs need trimming or removal, you be sure and call for an estimate. What a great company. Pure Green Smith Tree at 703-1111. The Antenna Man, what a great company that is. Mike Heinz, he's created out of Eaton Rapids. That means he puts an antenna system on your home, get rid of all those monthly fees you have to pay for all those channels you don't watch. The Antenna Man system gets you more than 60 channels free. He's got Cell Signal Pros to improve your cell service. If you're looking for an upgrade in both those areas, the Antenna Men and Cell Signal Pros, Google and call them in Eaton Rapids and have them come out and show you what they can do for you today.
Need a break from all the politics and bad news?
The Republicans had their chance.
The Democrats are destroying this country.
We got you. The Game, 7:30 a.m. Politic free.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. Monday during game week, it's press conference week on Mondays for the football coaches at Michigan and Michigan State. I don't have anything from Shamron Moore at Michigan, but Jonathan Smith, he's being quoted by Chris Solari of the Free Press. Smith says Brock tight end Michael Masunas is done for the season. Yep. He says tough blow for him. He hopes Alante Brown can return by the end of the season, but that's not a done deal by any means. Jonathan Smith was asked about Iowa, comparing Iowa after facing Ohio State and Oregon. Smith said it's a different challenge, and they're playing really well. A lot of this stuff, is just coaches speak. They asked him about, did you watch the Oregon-Ohio State game? Yeah, he watched it. Oh, boy, 2 great teams, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of that's predictable. He said Michigan State's bye week came at a good point. He said his players practiced only on Wednesday last week, then got back at it on Sunday because he said he wanted his players to be refreshed. So, that's some of what we have, moving forward from Jonathan Smith. Michigan State's game on Channel 10, 7:30 coming up on Saturday night, homecoming against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa is a 5.5-point favorite. On what I have here. There are other stories that are of note this morning. The AP preseason college basketball poll is out. Kansas is number 1. Michigan State and Michigan are not rated in the preseason top 25. The head coach of the Miami Dolphins says he expects his injured quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, he will play again this season after other concussion issues, okay? The Yankees have added Rizzo and Stroman to their roster for the American League
That's
Championship
Anthony
Series.
Rizzo and Marcus Stroman. Yep. Today's the last day that you can update your LCS roster.
He hasn't played. Rizzo hasn't played since he fractured his right hand's fourth and fifth fingers hit by a pitch September 28th.
Yeah.
But they have gone ahead and they are activating him. And Marcus Stroman, where will he?
Pitcher. Starting pitcher.
He's expected to serve as the long man out of the Yankees bullpen. He was left off the ALDS roster, but the Yankees decided a long reliever was not necessary for a 5-game series. But now with the ALCS, a best-of-7 affair with fewer off days, they want more help. Stroman is 33 years old, so that's in today as well. So I'm giving you whatever headlines that I have. It's a major headline that the boys have not announced yet exactly.
Tim, you're freaking out about this.
What the high school football broadcast is going to be Friday night. There's not one that stands out to them.
You got to stop freaking out about this.
Will you go right to 6 o'clock Friday and then just show up anywhere?
We'll let you know tomorrow, okay? Relax, Tim. It's okay.
Tim, George Fox coached at Lansing O'Rafferty after he left Fowler before he went to Everett. Paul Cook was the coach at Gabriel's. Yeah, those guys obviously made their mark as high school coaches in the area. And I brought that up because that was, the Gabriel's O'Rafferty, that was part of our Innovera.
What were their nicknames? Do you know?
Let's see, I should remember that. Gabriel's, somebody will email that to me in a moment. Off the top of my head, O'Rafferty's colors were blue and white, and Gabriel's, I think, was green and yellow. If I remember that, I think remember. I'm amazed that thing ended between the two of them in 1969. I thought it went later than that, and frankly, 1950 that was earlier than what I thought. But where O'Rafferty was located was not always in that new school building that they built at the time. So that was the deal there. All right. So by the way, I'm on a huge at 4:30 today. For whatever that's, I know what he's going to ask me. For whatever that's worth. Okay, he'll be all broken up because of the injury to Aiden Hutchinson, who, again, that could be our story of the day. He did undergo surgery last night on 2 broken bones at the Baylor Medical Center. He is expected to return to Detroit this week and is done. They just say they have no timetable on when he can play football again. There are going to be a lot of variables in that. There is no change in the college hockey ratings. I think State's got an exhibition game this week. They don't have regular season games. And then they get back in. I think they go to Canisius the following week.
I believe that's correct.
So they're 3-1 on the season. They are still ranked number 4, and Boston College is still number 2. I got to say, good for State for rallying and getting. I didn't see them getting 4 goals Saturday night after getting shut out the way they did on Friday night against Boston College, but indeed that's the way it was. I'm trying to think of what else we got that I have to promo. So tomorrow I might have a high school game to promo, but we don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
And you realize we're already at week 8 of the regular. So just in a week from Friday night, the regular season comes to an end, and a week from Sunday,
13 days from now,
on Bally Sports Detroit will be the playoff pairings.
Exactly.
And it would be remarkable, again, if Williamston wins one of the last 2 finishes, 3-6, and gets into the tournament. But Lansing Catholic did that a year ago.
And won a playoff game.
They won a playoff game
at 3-6.
At 3-6, and they got in and won a playoff game before they got knocked out. So it's not as if that can't happen. I mean, you got to have a disastrous year to miss the playoffs the way the whole thing gets put together
depending on who you play.
So there's that. So we have 2 baseball games today. That's probably the highlight. This afternoon, Game 2, Mets at Dodgers. If you missed the quality dairy number, Dodgers won last night 9-0. Yep. Which would have been a mercy anywhere else, but they beat them 9-0. And Cleveland at New York tonight, 7:30 in Yankee Stadium. So, and these are best of 7 series. The 2 winners go on to the World Series.
That's right. Red Wings tonight. They're at Madison Square Garden playing the Rangers, and we'll see if goalie Ville Husso, who they put on waivers yesterday. They have to do that to try to clear salary cap space because they got a couple of injuries right now. They're down a defenseman and they're down a forward, so they're going to have to call somebody up. But to do that, because they're so snug against the cap, they got to put Ville Husso on waivers.
So what? Their record is 1-1.
1-1.
They played 2 home games. They got beat 6-3 by Pittsburgh and then beat Nashville 3-0, right? The Preds.
Cam Talbot had like 40-41 saves, played great.
All right, so we have ESPN radio programming coming up next. Then we have Huge
at 3, and you're on at 4:30, right?
4:30, yeah. I don't know what he wants to know or what I can. How can I possibly help them in any way?
NFL Thursday Night Football, Bills at Jets tonight, 7:30 here on WVFM.
With new head coach Aaron Rodgers calling the plays from the field. Anyway, that'll be a big story tonight. I'll see you on Channel 10 at 6:20. Fred's got the late, and you've been listening to the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports right here on Lansing Sports Station, The Game. It's the home of the local sports shows and programs in the area from the Driven Collision Studios. For Brock, I'm Tim. Thanks to all of you for being with us today. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. So long.
I'm Will Tiemann, and welcome to the Michigan Sports Brief for Monday, October the 14th, brought to you by Frankenmuth Insurance. Start a frank conversation about your insurance with one of our local independent agents by visiting fmins.com. Today, Michigan State coach Tom Izzo shares a story. Back with that right after this.
Just like your favorite sports team, you need a solid defense to protect your home and business. Whether you're tackling unexpected accidents, fouls, or fumbles, the Al Bordeaux Insurance Agency and Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance are on your team. Visit the Al Bordeaux Insurance Agency today at albordeaux.com. That's ALBOURDEAU.com.
With MSU's basketball game in Northern Michigan yesterday, Tom Izzo was reminded of a story about the Mackinac Bridge and his one-time boss, Coach Judd Heathcote.
I actually wished I could have bussed up there so that they could have gone over the bridge if it was a little windy and they don't let buses over, like when Mike and I played and you had to sit there for an hour or two, or when you do go over and it's a little windy, it does sway a little bit. And those are all things that are, I spoke at something down in Ypsilanti, and there was a woman there, Valerie, that was the gymnastics coach for UCLA for, I think, 17 years. I think she won 9 national championships. And as we were talking, she was kind of narrating this thing, and she said, somebody asked me a question about the UP, and she says, what is a UP? What is the Uper? And I just realized some people are that uneducated that they don't know where in the hell that is. And so I told her, UCLA must not have had a very good geography curriculum out there. And so we tried to educate her a little bit on the UP. But my guys are always going to be like Judd Heathcote said. Judd took his wife and kids to Mackinac Island. And he pulled up and he got on the boat. They went across. They came back. Judd told his wife to get in the car. As you can imagine how he did that. His 3 kids were in the back seat, and he started driving north. And his wife said, "Where are we going?" And he drove over the bridge. Get to the other side of the bridge, stopped the car. He told everybody to get out of the car, and they did. And he said, "Now, if anybody ever asks you if you've been to the blankety-blank UP, tell them yes, get back in the car, we're going back." It was a true story, verified by his wife. And at least my guys are going to know what it's like.
The Michigan Sports Brief is brought to you by Frankenmuth Insurance.